Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the first live stream of 2022. We're back for another Wednesday night live stream, and I'm joined as always by Andy from Forgotten World of Movies. And we've also got Mike here as well.
Hello.
And the special guest tonight is John from Mondo Chelloveck Movies.
All right.
Yep. So how have we all been today? Been up to much? Or what films have we been watching recently? Do you want to go first, Andy?
Yeah, sure. So, because I've currently got COVID, I'm stuck at home. So I've just been watching loads of stuff on Netflix. A lot of new movies like Don't Look Up, Boom, usual stuff. I actually watched Army of the Dead last night for the first time, and I did not like it one bit. But yeah, I've sort of started watching the Harry Potter films from the beginning as well. So I watched Philosopher's Stone today. But yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen them in years. Does it still hold up, Philosopher's Stone?
Yeah, some of the CGI in it is a bit questionable, but yeah, it's
like 20 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing that time's gone by.
Yeah, I watched the reunion the other night, so it sort of rekindled a little bit interest for me. So yeah.
So what was the reunion like? Was it any good?
It was. Let's just say it not having James Corden was a plus. Yeah,
that's a big benefit.
Yeah. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. It was more emotional than what I thought it was going to be, but it was good. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Mike? What was the last thing you watched?
The last film I watched it last night, and it was Another Round with Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah,
great film.
Yeah, I picked it up on Blu-ray. I'd seen it before, but yeah, it's just a great film. I think his acting in it is just fantastic.
Yeah, I picked up that Riders of Justice the other day. I've heard that's pretty good as well.
Yeah, not seen that one.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, it looks like it's a bit of an action thriller sort of thing.
Yeah,
but it's only got a release on DVD over here, no Blu-ray at all.
That's strange, mind. I think that doesn't get at least a Blu-ray.
Yeah. I think abroad you probably will be able to find one, but it is odd for it not to get a Blu-ray here.
Yeah, I agree.
So what was the last film you watched, John?
Well, actually, I watched a film today because I got something through the post, and it was something which I've unboxed, but I got a DVD, actually. It's a banned, well, previously banned video nasty, and I've tried to tick them off the list. So I got this one here, which is Don't Look in the Basement. So it took a lot of finding to find one that I thought was going to be uncut, and it is uncut because I've just watched it. And it was, I thought it was going to be atrocious when I first put it on because it must have been made with about $50 to make this film in 1973. But to be honest, it's a really good film. It really does deliver on quite a few things, and it's not that gory, but you can tell the bit that it was banned for or put in the banned list that there's a bit of brutality in it. But apart from that, it's a good film. It's pretty decent, and the quality is awful, mine. But I knew the Blu-ray looked awful, so I thought rather than getting £20 Blu-ray, I got a £10 DVD, which was uncut. So that was it. So really impressed by it after thinking I wouldn't be, which is always a benefit.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I've enjoyed your new videos of your video nasties. It's a great idea for a series.
Well, it was one. You know how? Well, actually, there's quite a few coming out in the UK, that you couldn't get before. And I thought, what it is? I think I might actually see how many I've got and how many I can complete. So I had to look through those DVD box sets of the video nasties. And when I looked through them, I got the buzz again of how interesting to me this whole thing is after living through the whole debacle. So that's why I try to sort of think, well, I'll give it a go. I don't think I'll complete it, but it'll be a bit of a thing to do next year. And if they all turn out to be as kind of half watchable as this, then that'll be the ones I haven't seen. It'll be good. And I've enjoyed doing it. And it seems to be there's a lot of people coming out who are commenting on it who are actually there when it was happening, and their stories are coming out with is exactly the same. The thing happened to me, You go past the video shop, you see something to win, then you think, I've got to get my hands on that. And then the next thing you know, you're told you can't have it. So you spent the rest of your life seeming to try and find it. And it's like you go to like dodgy places and dodgy people just to say, "Hey, you got Driller Killer." You know, it's just nuts. But it was a thing.
It certainly was an odd time indeed.
Oh, yeah, it really was.
But thankfully, it's
you
not,
could get
not
really,
like that now.
you get seriously, fined and even put in prison for like distributing these things. And
I could imagine.
Yeah. And like say these days, if you go and like, I know this didn't come from the States, but if it was on the banned list and I got it from the States, or it was usually come from like Sweden and stuff like that back in the day, you really stood the chance of when the customs got a hold of it, rather than put the chance on, money on the thing when it comes through the customs, they'll be knocking on your door with the things saying, right, come to the police station with me, because I've heard of the people I used to get the stuff off, some of them, me and my mate John Hall, we got some stuff off a lad called Kev, and he was always knowing people who were getting busted, and by busted we meant like fined, £3,600, like £6,000 and stuff like that. So it was a crazy time. Yeah. One, like I say, I'm really glad it doesn't happen now.
Yeah.
For a film. As for me, I'll talk about two films. Last night I watched Scream for the first time. Well, I thought it was the first time, but I actually did watch it years ago as a kid, but didn't know what the title of the film was.
Right.
Yep, so I've seen it again, watched it last night, really enjoyed it. I obviously appreciated it more now I'm older, and how it like took loads of tropes from like older horror films. And what was the day before? Monday was the day before Tuesday. Yep, I watched Titan, whatever it's called, a new French film, and really enjoyed it. It's incredibly out there, and it's a mix of all sorts of genres, but it works. Let's just say you won't look at a car the same way again, but I won't say no more.
See.
Yeah, it's a good film. I don't know when it comes out on Blu-ray over here.
I've heard of it. Heard the name talk quite a few times actually.
It's been featured on a lot of people's like film of the year sort of thing.
Yes.
I noticed Sarah from Popcorn Chat, that was her film of the year, and that's what like persuaded me to watch it. Glad I did.
I think it's great to watch these type of like things, because you always get a movie that you've never heard of, but when the recommendation of somebody, and especially they put it at the top of the list, you feel good that when you check it out, you'll probably get something that was worth watching.
Yeah, it's always good to look at other people's lists. I just literally before the stream watched Movie Worm's like 90 odd films that he watched throughout the year, the ranking. It was a long watch, but it was really interesting to see what he thought of so many different films.
Yeah, that must have put a lot of work to get that put together, I tell you. Wow.
It is. I don't think I could cope with that. 10 was hard enough with a few honourable mentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a quick thing. Like, as your channels, what have you got for future video ideas? I know for me, I'm thinking about doing a sort of retro review of older films. Try and bring that back. Try and do some more reviews and do some unboxings, as well as a few other things in the pipeline. What about you, Andy?
I want to sort of get back into doing like collector's collections again, because I've sort of started doing it and then I've collected it a little bit. I'm waiting for one more film and then I'm going to do the Coen Brothers. I want to get into, then you've got the heavy hitters like Kubrick and Hitchcock that I want to do as well. I'm just, there's like, I've gone through like directors' catalogs, but there's always like one or two films I'm missing. And it's just getting hold of those films, because I want to sort of try and get as many as possible to sort of cover as much ground as possible. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to doing in the future.
Yeah, because I remember you done some more directors just before Christmas. That was really good. And like now you're on the camera, your videos are even better.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh,
I agree
thanks.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks. Yeah. It was a big step. You've got Jason to thank for that.
It was
I
a
think
great move.
I think it's a good thing to have. I like the fact of you can see. I think the one I really enjoyed of yours, Andy, was the one with you did with you know, when you're blank. Hang on, what was it? The director of you know, God Almighty. That's what getting up at 6 o'clock does for you. Tim Burton. Tim Burton, man.
Tim Burton, yeah.
And I went through them, and the same with Mike. Actually, when he did the Carpenter stuff, it made me think, hang on, there's a few on there I need to recheck, you know. And with you, Andy, that's when I got that Big Eyes. I know your third was like not the best of ones, but I really enjoyed that. And with Mike, when I got They Live, and because you spoke about it that well, that I thought, you know, I'm going to give this a second chance, and I always seem to get it, and I don't get the fact that it changes sort of tack halfway through. But I just took a different slant with it with this one, and I really enjoyed it. So it's finally clicked with us, which is the only one that hasn't really clicked with us was Big Trouble in Little China, which I need. That's my next one to go to and say, give it a clean slate and just say, crack ahead and see what happens. But I enjoy. See, that's the best thing about watching videos like that. It makes you think a different way about something and makes you appreciate something or take it from a different angle. And you can learn something about, like you say, a director that you know a lot about, but you think there's these little oddities in their collection that you think, right, I'll get into that. So, no, really good. Very enjoyable.
I agree. Oh, so Mike, have you got any future ideas for your channel?
Well, I think similar to Andy, I do enjoy ranking, and I think I kind of maybe have dug myself into a hole a little bit because the first video I did was that John Carpenter ranking video, but I named it episode 1, so that obviously that means there needs to be more episodes. But I do enjoy like the director ranking videos, and I was gonna tackle Brian De Palma next, but he has got quite a lot of films. I think he might have about 30 films, and I think it's just going to take me a while to sort of do something like that because I like to add like a lot of screenshots to the video and do a lot of editing, and it's quite a lot of work. But yeah, I'd like to do sort of things like that, like ranking videos, and I enjoy doing like the unboxings as well. Like I did that Mulholland Drive unboxing, and yeah, I'm just gonna see what happens, but it's still kind of like early days for me, so. Yeah, I'm not too sure, but I do have a few sort of ideas in mind.
Yeah, but you're doing really great work for only just starting out not too long ago. What was it, about a month or two ago you started?
Yeah, it was like the end of November, beginning of December, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good first video. I can remember watching that and was really impressed.
Oh, thanks.
Well, usually, you know, when you go, Mike, when you go and see somebody's first video, you see my first video, it's so bad. And usually, if you hear someone's put the first video up, and you go and look at it and you say, well, you can see potential or whatever, what the channel might become. You get a flavor, but yours is like pretty professional from the word go. I think that's what somebody said about, which made me want to check it. And I was like, wow, this is really good. It's the kind of thing that I think, oh, that's what I like to do. But I don't spend enough time on it to sort of edit to get it to that standard. But I appreciate when I see it, that somebody's put the effort, because you know how much effort it must have took to get that sort of look to your videos. So and you can only grow from there. And if you're starting off on that level, I'm sure you're going to go far.
Oh wow! Cheers, John.
Nice.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
What about you, John? What have you got planned for your channel, future videos?
Well, I've got the Video Nasties is going to get the third part, which is the Section 3 ones, which weren't banned, but the police were informed to say if they could be in a shop doing a raid, they could get rid of them movies or tell the people to get it off the shelves, so the people didn't stock them. So when, you know, if there's the Section 3 ones, there's that many of them, it's taking us a long time to get through it. Because the video, to look at it, I think it's about 8 hours long that you've got to go through to get all the information. So that's taken a while. So I've got them to do. Then I'm going to do a bit more of the video nasties in a way, but I don't know how that one's going to go. I know there's a lot of life left in that. And obviously through the course of the year, I'm going to start going about, I've got this movie. This is how I went about it. This is why I didn't get the Blu-ray. This is why I got the DVD. This is why I picked this particular one, because there's about 5 or 6 DVDs of that. But I think all the other ones are cut. That was so hard to find out that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a lot of, well, not a lot of, but I'm going to do like where I live, go out and about, and just, this is the cinema that I always talk about that I went is, you know, it's still there. I'm going to go from where I used to live, just walk down the back alley and go to the cinema and show you where the cinema is, which is next to the Spanish City, which isn't there anymore. And then go around the coast and just show you bits and pieces from the coast. And I'll probably talk about what's happened to me at certain parts where I was there, because there's always some mad stories, you know, that we used to get up to. And I can take that location and say this happened there and this happened there. And just maybe put them into a video somewhere. And then, of course, the music thing, I'm going to do more music. And it's the thing that drew me to Mike's channel, Mike's music channel. The fact that when somebody records the full music themselves, you've got an appreciation of how difficult it is to sort of put together. It's not something, it looks, when you see somebody with a full recorded song, and I can't sing, but I appreciate the fact that Mike can sing. He can do the whole lot. When I see that, I'm going, wow, because I know it's not easy, and he's doing it well. So I really appreciate that stuff. So I'm going to do some stuff like that, but you'll never hear me singing. That's one thing for sure. There's plenty of stuff, and I've got a list of stuff to do. So I'm sure I've got a lot of stuff to keep us going. Which at the end of the day,
plenty of stuff to look forward to.
You don't know how it's going to go. That's what I'm saying to Mike and Andy and yourself. You don't know how you've got a plan for this year. But at the end of the year, you've done something completely different. You might be in a different space. So it's great to evolve, I think.
Yeah, because like this time last year, I was essentially all just video games. And then like halfway through the year, just try that and just like really shut off.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And I think it's a good direction you went into.
Yeah. Do you want to just tell Jason he can come on, because I just got a pop-up message saying he wanted to come on. Andy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let him know.
Yeah, Jason said he wanted to come on. It's going to be full house tonight, Anne.
I just set my alarm clock for 8 hours time. Wow.
Right. So yeah, if you got any comments and questions, pop them in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Well, probably will be a long one tonight. Yeah.
I've got
Thanks, Andy.
I've got to take my son to work at 5:30. So I'll not be doing an 8 hour tonight.
I know I've been up since about 6 this morning and I'm starting to feel really tired.
Well, actually, there was, one of your last videos that you put on, you were at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
When you put it on, I was saying to myself, I thought, God, he looks rough. And then you've been up all night, and then you said, this is 3 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, that explains that. Like, you look bushed, mind.
Yeah. I think most of my videos I end up doing at like at 3 o'clock in the morning, literally either just before I go to bed or just after I get up.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully Jason will be joining in a minute, but let's get to some comments. And first off, we've got Koroshi Ichi here. He's saying hello. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. He also says Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you, mate.
Happy New Year.
We have the DVD and Film Bloke. Hi, mate. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, mate.
Hi.
He says, since someone I know is screening UHF in about 25 minutes, I will miss a large chunk of the stream. But thanks for joining anyway, mate.
That's the Weird Al. It's the I've got it here. It's the Weird Al movie. It's like a spoof movie with Weird Al Yankovic called UHF. ultra high frequency. Yeah,
I thought it can't be that. It's
yeah,
obscure.
yeah.
I've never even heard of it
I
before.
quite like it. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like a late
that's-
80s comedy movie. It's good. It's
Oh.
good fun.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great,
that's
isn't it?
cool.
Yeah.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I've only seen the Harry Potter films once. I take it or leave it as a whole, but I like them enough. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
They're not for everyone. You know, if you've got it's got its fans, obviously. But if it's not your thing, it's not your thing.
The first two films are very light sort of fluff sort of kids films, and then it takes a quite surreal dark tone compared to the previous two,
Yeah.
The Prisoner of Azkaban,
Yeah.
and it keeps that
The
sort of
first-
tone all the way.
The first two you can tell are like Chris Columbus movies, and then the third one it just goes really sort of dark and more mature from there. And then you can sort of tell David Yates directed the last four.
Yeah,
You can sort of tell who directed which one.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I think the problem I had with Harry Potter, because I never read the books, and I remember when I watched the films, it got to a point maybe about the fourth or fifth one where I was kind of getting a bit confused of what was going on, because I think the films miss out like a lot of crucial details from the books, and I feel like only people who read the books would understand the films completely. So yeah, I think it got to a point where I started to get a bit confused, and it was like missing out details that I wasn't too sure on.
Because the book's got to be like that thick, didn't it? Eventually,
Yeah,
it was quite small, and they got like massively thick.
yeah, because like the final book was split into two films, weren't it? That became a thing. But for me, Half-Blood Prince was just a really slog to get through. I didn't like that film one little bit.
I think we only watched the first three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We have DVD from Film Bloke saying evening Korshiichi, and we have Video Tasties here saying I need to see that Mads film. Yeah, Another Round is really good.
Yeah,
it's on Sky at the minute. I think I'll download it. It's pretty. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, so it's got to have something about it. Yeah, I like Mads Mikkelsen anyway.
Yeah, I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to him in the new Fantastic Beasts. Whilst it's a shame that Johnny Depp isn't in it, he is a good replacement, I think.
I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts ones, but I might. I've got it on 4K. I got it with my 4K player. The first one, but I haven't watched it yet. I might.
The first one's really good. The second one's a bit of a bore.
It's like as if they didn't really know what they were doing. Come on, it's just like you know, even diehard Harry Potter fans have trouble with that film. Like they just don't really get it.
Yeah.
Not a lot happens really, and there isn't really no direction where it's going to. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this new one. It does look good, but I don't know, because there's about 5 films coming, isn't there?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's another for this one. Yeah.
I always thought it was intended to be like a one-off film.
Yeah, I did. Well, I think it's leading up to the first war with Harry's parents and the original Order of the Phoenix, where they take down Voldemort. Well, where Voldemort sort of tries to kill Harry for the first time. I think that's what it's leading to.
Oh, right.
Probably.
I didn't realise they sort of joined forces. Oh, right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Next up, we've got Edward here. Evening, everyone. Hope you're all well and Happy New Year. Thanks for joining, mate, and Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. I keep forgetting this New Year. Doesn't seem like New Year. It seems like it was like weeks ago when that happened.
Yeah. It's like hard to imagine a couple of weeks ago we were just about ready for Christmas, and now we're all back to normal.
Yeah, you're right. It's flown over.
Yeah. Koshi says, good evening, Edward, and Happy New Year to you too. DVD from Film Bloke says, last night I watched Medium Cool. It wasn't great. It had some great themes, but the execution let it down. Ooh, never heard of that one. Have you guys heard of it?
No,
I've noticed.
No.
He also says, surprisingly, I've not seen a single Section 1 video nasty, and the only Section 2 one I've seen is The Evil Dead.
I think maybe it's just the fact that when you were growing up in that, it's just word of mouth when you're a school kid in the schoolyard and people are coming up to you and say, I spit on your grave last night. And you just thought, that sounds amazing. I want to see that one. The titles used to hook you before you even knew what the film was. And sometimes when it gets to the point where you even get to this age and you haven't even seen the films, it was just a sort of word of mouth. It was just of its time. So if you were of my age, you would probably have wanted it. If you were into films, you would probably want to track the whole lot down, or just the ones you would get off your mates. So all got passed around in school because, or you went round to your mate's house because his dad had it, and then you would just all pile in. It was just mad. But looking back on them, they're not that bad, even though some are atrocious, but they're quite fun, atrocious.
Yeah.
But there's some really nasty ones in it as well. Ooh.
There's most of them are Section 3, he says.
Yeah, the Section 3 actually has got a lot of films I've never even heard of. And I was thinking to myself, I would have probably heard of them all, but there's a big chunk of them I never even knew existed. And I don't think you'll ever be able to get them on physical media.
He also says, video nasty trading were like drug smuggling back then. Now customs don't give a rat's ass.
Yeah, it's true. When I used to say this lad, this Kev, he used to say to him, what you want, because he'd phone him up every month, and he would give you two videos on a 4-hour tape, 2 movies for a tenner, or you could go and buy the actual real ones, the pre-certs, but they had to come from Sweden or Finland. So you would have a list of ones that you could get, like Exorcist, Clockwork Orange, and you would say, and you knew you were going to pay 30, 40 quid for them. And he would say, every now and again, he says, I've got a big one for you. Cannibal Holocaust, original pre-cert. And you say, how much? 100 quid. You say, no, it's too much. But it was just that's what it was. And but he was taking all the risks. Then he was always saying, I'll have to go quiet for a couple of months. And then he would just to put his head down. And funny enough, the lad was still know him, and he does sell stuff on eBay legitimately. But he got through the whole thing. He was a good kid. I've phoned him up loads of times on the phone. So, but that's what you had to do. But yes, it was literally. If that's why we didn't import them, because we just knew if we got caught, we were for it. You know. So John Hall, that's another thing that we used to do together. Just go and get these crazy things, and he would bring them round to my house, and he says, "Look what I've got," and you'd have like something like terrible. And I would say, well, I've ordered this one, which is more terrible than your terrible one, you know, a worse. So we used to sit around, we used to go for the worst films you could find. There's one called, the worst one I've seen is Traces of Death, which is like a Mondo film, like reality. It's utterly disgusting. You know, when you put it on, you think, I don't think I should be watching this. So it's one of them one watch things where every next thing that's coming on, it was worse than the one before. And you just thought, right. I think that's
was that Traces of Death or Faces of Death?
It wasn't Faces of Death. I used to have Faces of Death, but but Traces of Death was, you know, Faces of Death was meant to be a real film, but it was staged. A lot of it staged. But Traces of Death was just they got footage from around the world from news programs and all that. And it's just all 100% real. And, I would imagine there's worse things in the world now. But at that point in '93, it was the one that you got and you thought, oh, this is awful. Like this bloke who shot himself live on TV. That was, I mean, you can see that on YouTube. That
was that wasn't Bud Dwyer, was it?
Bud Dwyer, yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah, that's another one. Jason told me about, and I had a look, and I was like, oh. Fucking hell, this is...
Talk about him. Here he is. Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Right, just to check. Everyone can see me. Everyone can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
Yeah. Because when I tried to join, like, it was picking up no audio, and my camera couldn't turn on. So just checking everything's right.
Yeah.
How's everyone, man? How's everyone? Thanks for letting me join.
No
Yeah,
problem.
no
You all right,
problem.
Jason?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Mm.
I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I heard you talking about Bud Wire. That video, man, it's
Good.
brutal.
Yeah.
It's
It
brutal.
is.
Horrid.
It's
Yeah.
and it's crazy because I was a bit like I've watched it more than once. I'm that kind of morbid in that
Yeah.
way because you can't believe what you're seeing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your brain
Mm.
can't comprehend what you're seeing is real. And the camera guy, you got to give respect to him. He did not cut. He just kept rolling. And that's the really dark part of it. It's like the whole thing
Well,
is there to see.
He followed him down, didn't he? He followed him down to the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing what I don't like about it, the thing that I think was different from with Bob Dwyer was when he went, if anyone's going to be offended by this, would you please leave the room? And I don't want to hurt anybody. And I was like, wow. And if you read about him and what he was doing, and there's a movie about him called, I'm trying to call it like An Innocent Guy or something like that, and it's meant to be that the fact he was kind of framed a little bit. You're kind of on his side, but what a bit of footage it was. But when you don't know about it and it comes on the screen on this big movie, you think, oh God. But you do have to watch it twice to get it out of your mind. Otherwise you'll think about it forever.
Yeah. But
It's horrible.
it's scary that someone's got to get to that point where they have the only escape is death. Like that must be. I can't imagine what he's thinking up here, what his mind's like. It's horrendous.
Well, apparently what he did it for was because if he died when he was in service, because he's going to get put into prison for about 50 years for conspiracy of fraud. So because he died in service of that, then his family got his pension. So that's apparently why
something.
he got sentenced.
Yeah, I read it something like 4.5 million, something like that. They got, which, I mean, that's I swear that's a nice gesture to his family, but I guess they would get. I know from my own experience of losing a parent, I know it's like different circumstances completely, but we've got life insurance and stuff like that from when my dad passed. We'd give all that money back, to get him back. So I can imagine the money means nothing to them. It's just.
I think it was a mindset. He just must have been pushed to the edge, and then that was what the decision he made. But why? My God!
Can you imagine that? I cannot believe what it must be like to be innocent of a crime that you're being accused of and no one believes you. That must be the most horrible thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It'd be terrible. And the fact is that on hindsight, he might not have been guilty of what he was charged of. And if you're going to get sentenced to 55 years for something he didn't do in America, you think, wow, you'll have 55 years of brutality possible.
Yeah.
So
maybe he saw it as his life is over now anyway.
He probably did.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it's a fascinating story, actually, but it's an horrendous bit of footage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely stayed with me when I watched it.
So the message is don't see traces of death. Leave it alone.
No. Or sit there watching that him shooting himself whilst you're eating your breakfast like I did the day after you two were talking about it.
Yes, definitely don't eat.
No. I thought, and then I was
Just
no more food.
I would recommend just don't watch the footage at all. Like it's not something you can just stick on and go, I'm gonna stick on and watch this. Don't do it. Just
Stay away.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If you know that kind of stuff is gonna really kind of get to you, don't bother. Don't, because I'm quite morbidly curious of that kind of stuff. But I know if I watch something, it's gonna upset me. So I try to steer myself away from doing it. I'm a bit in weird two minds like that though.
It stays with you sometimes, and you just think sometimes you regret watching certain stuff. I mean, when you see all these terrorist things when they behead people, I haven't watched any of them. I couldn't take that.
No,
I couldn't watch that.
That would haunt me. That.
The weird thing about this is, people can watch all these real deaths on camera and stuff like it actually happened in real life and that. I don't get upset by pictures. If I had to watch someone die, it's obviously as you're watching it happen, so it's horrible. If I see a picture of a dead person, that doesn't bother me as much. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think the act's a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I just want to say, John, as I'm here, I really liked your 2 videos on the video nasties.
Oh, yeah. Actually, because I'm sure a while ago we were talking about a similar sort of subject about it, and I thought it's like I was saying before that it's the fact that these are going to start to come out a little bit. I think there's about 4 coming out recently soon, and I thought, well, it might be a good time to try and finish this lot off. And but by going back to those 2 DVDs and researching them a bit more, I've really enjoyed it, and it's kind of ignited me fire on the whole ban video nasties thing. Because I would say out of the whole lot, there's not really that many that are like really awful, but there's a few that are like really nasty.
Yeah, you've got me looking into them now because I've got the 2 documentaries that are really good. I really enjoy watching those. But I bet you're going to be paying a pretty penny for just utter trash movies.
Did I show you that? Did you see that one that I was showing? That's the one I just got today. Don't Look in the Basement. That was you can get it for £2 on DVD, but I'm pretty sure they're cut. So I got this one that's £10.99 on Amazon, but the Blu-ray is it's uncut, but the Blu-ray is the same print as that, and this one's not very good, and reckon Blu-ray is not very good. So Blu-ray is £20 with import charges. This is £10.99, so I went for that. So I am gonna break the bank with this, but I'm gonna try to break it sensibly. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Don't tell me wife though.
I want to apologize if I've cut into any conversation by mistake. Because I popped the stream on about 10 minutes ago, and then I asked to join. So if I cut into anything, I do apologize.
No, it's great to have you on.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be on. I appreciate the invite. Well, I appreciate the permission to come on because I already had the link. So. All good.
Yeah.
All good in the hood, as they say.
No problem. Moving on, we've got Karoshi Ichi here, and he says, watched the 4K stream of Citizen Kane yesterday. That's my comment of the evening. Cool. I see they released that. Pardon?
I've never seen Citizen Kane. I always put it on and then just never get through it. I don't know why, but I do appreciate it's a decent film. Yeah, it looks spectacular.
I think they released a special edition of it.
Yeah, it's a film I feel like I'm obligated to watch, being a fan of film and stuff. But I've just never got around to it.
You know, like say if you're after something that I think they've done a load of special like photography first in that, where they've got somebody at the front who's in focus, then they've got somebody in the back of the picture that's still in focus as well. And there was a lot of camera, not tricks, but like things that they kind of like brought the mold with. So I'm interested in seeing it for that reason. But as a sort of movie about this whole newspaper magnate, I'm not really too sure that's my sort of thing.
Yeah, because I think I spoke to Andy when I was on my last stream with him. I think this same movie came up, and I think I was talking about. I think it's because I've seen it in a lot of top 10 of movies of all time lists. Like it's usually number 1, and I feel like it's only number 1 on a lot of these tabloids. Top 10 movies of all time is because what it did for filmmaking, it kind of pushed the boundaries. Yeah, not necessarily what the film is, but what it did for film is why it's always number 1. Is that, do I have the right stick there?
Well, I would say that. I would say it's more of a sort of bit like Stanley Kubrick's movies, like 2001 is spectacular to look at, but it's a bit of a head scratcher, and it's not a movie that most people get on the first watch. So, and I think that may be a Citizen Kane thing as well. It's like it's a bit of a marvel, but it's not really everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. Citizen Kane, it's like, sorry, no, it's Citizen Kane's like, it's a movie I appreciate, but it's not a film I'm probably ever going to watch again, because I didn't get that kind of enjoyment out of it. I got like lots of appreciation about it because of when it was made and how it was quite a pioneer in the way it did things. But it's probably not a film I'm ever going to watch again.
I think if most people are honest, Mike, I think that's probably the way they would say it as well. I think maybe some people might get it, but I would say that 90% would say, because that's exactly how I feel, and I've only watched a bit of it, and I think I would have come away from that movie with the same mindset as that.
Yeah.
I've seen it about 3 times, but I do really like it. And before I watched it, I did have that mindset of this, it's going to be a really, really important film I'm going to watch here, but do I really want to watch it? Kind of, if you know what I mean. It's like, it's such a held in high regard movie, but it's like, am I going to get enjoyment from it? Am I going to be entertained by it? I actually was. I did really, really enjoy it for what it was, and I do think it does have this great story to it about this child who's snatched up, taken up, and forced into the realm of becoming this massive media mogul. Pretty much against his will. And then there's the whole Rosebud thing to it. What, that's his last dying word. What does it mean? And you do find out at the end what it means, and it does sort of come full circle with this whole what everyone's trying to find out about him. But visually, it is great. There's a scene in it I absolutely love where Orson Welles is just standing in front of these mirrors, and it's like a repetitive shot of him just going on and on and on forever, and it really is great. But it did feel like it's one of those big movies that you have to see. You aren't really in the mood watching, kind of like Lawrence of Arabia or Gone with the Wind. It's like a massive movie like that you just you feel as if it's just going to be a bit too big of a pill to swallow, if that makes sense. It just feels like it's going to be a tough order, shall I say. But I enjoyed it for what it was. I did get enjoyment from it, but I completely understand that mindset of going into it. It can be off-putting.
See, my perspective on it. Obviously, I haven't seen the film, but when you look back to those early kind of 4 or 5 decades of filmmaking, the 20s, 30s, and 40s, I don't really see much of a kind of. It's on a lot of like top 10 lists as like the greatest films ever, but I don't see it really standing alongside, say, I don't know, people might in the comments might go a bit mad, but like I see, say, the 1933 King Kong as a more of an important film. Just on the outside looking in, like if I was to put those two together, I think King Kong is probably more groundbreaking. But then again, I've not seen Citizen Kane, so it's weird. But from that weird kind of like just looking at what it's done and how people talk about them, and I'd say there's other films in the same kind of time frame that are probably more important than that. I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. I don't know.
I think you're right in a way, Jason, because say for instance, if you are like in Citizen Kane's gang, in King Kong's gang, you'll know that King Kong started off like this massive thing, and maybe Citizen Kane started another thing in another avenue. But I think, as we all do, we'll go down different avenues in movies, and I might think, because I like a particular zombie flesh eaters, I might think that the whatever the first zombie film was amazing, and someone could think it's utter trash, and I could think that somebody who likes a sort of weepy film, I could think they're utter trash, like these beaches and stuff like that. So I think it's like that horses for course, isn't it? But I think it's one of them things where some films are really good, like Lawrence of Arabia. I've tried that many times to get through that movie, and I just get halfway through, and I do appreciate the fact it's a spectacular movie, and I think I have to get up in 4K to see how beautiful it's going to be. But also, I think myself, I try so hard to think I've got to get through this, and I just don't. I always tail off with it. So it's funny that, and I do appreciate it, but I would take, there was another film that maybe come out the same year, which could be a kind of like B-movie pot boiler, but I'll go to that one any day and get far more fun out of it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Isn't it?
Yeah, totally. Right. Moving on, we've got the DVD for Phil Bloke, and he says it is still technically illegal to trade uncertified films, but customs don't care. They may care if it's being traded in the country. It's not illegal to own an uncertified film anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's funny. It's funny. They brought up uncertified because where I watched that video Nasties thing, all the cool tapes that came out with the cool artwork and stuff for those movies were like pre-certificate. This is pre-certified.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look for them, and some of them go for stupid money. Like
crazy.
I think the uncertified copy of Alien was something like, I don't know, like 50 quid or whatever it was. Like it was silly money.
You're looking at £50 plus for all of them ones. You really are. Pre-certs have always been hard to like buy if you want to buy the whole pre. You know, when on them videos, Jason, you know what I'm talking about, when they're getting interviewed and they've got like all of those like big box VHS behind them.
Yeah.
That wall of movies, which are really old, trashy movies, that must have cost a fortune to put that together. If it's their collection or just one they're sitting beside, it's crazy amount, and it's still you still pay a lot of money for it. Because I could have done the VHS route, but that would have just cleaned us out. That would have been just nuts.
I tell you, mate, if I had the space, I would definitely start collecting VHS again. Oh, without question. Like if I had like a whole warehouse to myself, I'd be like, right, let's get on it now. Boom.
There's a certain charm to them, but I just prefer a nice looking 4K, nice crispy 4K, and I'm in the element of an old film.
Don't get me wrong. It will be it'd be about self-indulgent nostalgia. That's the only reason I do it, but I'd still do it.
Yeah, I know.
Right. We've got Bristolian Dave here, or Romy Babbers. Thanks for joining, Dave. Yeah. DVD before Bloke says, actually, I should say Babber because I'm not from Bristol. DVD from Film Bloke also says, surprisingly, I rarely, if ever, do ranking and list videos because I tend to do extensive editing, scripting, and so on. I make director ranking lists on Letterboxd instead. Cool.
Yeah. I can kind of understand that because I think sometimes when you do a ranking, but you know, years down the line, your opinion might change, and I guess if you were to do it on YouTube, then you can't really erase that, can you? So yeah.
No.
I've got a couple of ranking videos on the way, and it's like finding the time to sit down and video them and knowing and trying to collate your thoughts on what you want to say for each movie in the list. It's so time consuming. I'm just like, right, I want to do a Resident Evil ranking because a new one come out and it was dog shit. So I want to rank them and see how it fares with the rest. And also obviously Spider-Man, I want to do that as well. But like all I've done is just I've made the list and I've done my little transitions where it's like number 9 is this, and it's just like little animation. I've done those, but I've done no filming whatsoever, and I keep putting it off because I'm just like, yeah, I do it today, and I'm just so tired after work. I'm just like, no, I do it tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes, and then the next day comes.
I know.
Yeah. I filmed my Spider-Man ranking list, but I never edited it. I was going to edit it this week, but then it had all Christmas decks in the background, so I thought, nah, I'll leave it and reshoot it.
Yeah, I tried doing a ranking video the other day, and I had to give up halfway through because for whatever reason, I just wasn't feeling it, and I couldn't think of what I needed to say for every film, and yeah, it's a pain.
If a video flows, it's great, but if you're just stumbling with it, you just think it's not the be, and you might put it in the box for another day, or you might just not come back to it. Yeah, because I think people can. If you're used to someone's channel and you watch the video of theirs and they're not feeling it on the video, you can get that from the video, and you're better off just not putting it out.
Yeah,
you know yourself when it's not right. You can go, nah, that's rubbish. And I think you're your own best critic on here, and you have to be really, because if you don't critique your own stuff, then you might put out garbage. But you got to be able to go back and look at them and say they were all right to a certain extent.
I about 2 months ago, I announced this 7-part series I want to do. I shouldn't have announced it because I knew that it would take me forever to even think about starting it. So that was a mistake on its own. But I'm doing like a 7 deadly sins of movie collecting. So it's like bad habits from the collector's side and also from the, studios that put out the stuff. So stuff that we do that annoys us, but we keep doing it because we're collectors. And also stuff that the habits that studios do that kind of gets on their nerves a little bit. I was going to do that. I've got all my thumbnails sorted. I've got kind of the idea of what each video is going to be about. But then I realized I need to really write it. I need to script this because I won't be able to talk about this like just on camera in one go. It's going to be difficult. But I like the idea, and I will get them done. It's just finding the time to really kind of piece it together. But,
when it comes to like film rankings, I have all the thoughts of what I'm going to say, and then when it comes to actually filming it, I'm like, what was I going to say? And then I just have to give up.
Yeah, massively.
I find doing things like pick-up videos like quite easy because I don't know, you just kind of, because you're just showing what you've got and you only have to say like a few little things, and it's quite easy to get through.
I agree.
Yeah, there's some videos that are much easier than other ones.
Yeah.
I appreciate anybody who does put time into videos to put a really good one together, because you can tell that they put a lot of thought into it, or they've done a lot of editing, and you can tell when it's not, they've done stuff that's not easy, and you know how many of them, like with you, Jason, sometimes the things you put in your little, like speeding your voice up, and then other things by looking at the cameras and having different cameras, and you know that's when you've done that, that's something you had to do. You didn't press a button, you've got to do that and doing them. So to put all them other ones in, it takes, say you're going to edit something for an hour, you'd be doing 2 hours because you're putting all them little bits together. And it could be like 3 seconds. So I think when you do edit, and you do appreciate them things when you see them, maybe other people wouldn't appreciate it because they don't know about the whole time factor of it. Is not.
So I've always gone by it. I've always gone by this kind of like idea when it comes to the way I approach videos. A new video begins in the editing process. The filming bit is whatever, but when it comes to the editing, that's when I've kind of, my creative bubble can kind of grow, and I can go, oh, this bit, I'll cut this out and do a silly thing here, and then move this bit over and make myself zoom out like a crazy person, then do this. And that's where the video really takes life, is in the editing for me.
Yeah, I can see it.
My favorite part.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It's got to be fun.
I just end up editing my videos on Windows Movie Maker because I'm too lazy.
I can't recommend Adobe Premiere Pro enough. It is quite pricey. Obviously, money is a thing. It's £20 a month, but I don't think you'll get a better editing software, because I've had it for about 5 years, and it is just I'm always learning new stuff. So when you start learning the little kind of intricacies, it's such a tool set for editing and what you can do. And I do recommend it. If you can afford the £20 a month, I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's like probably the best in the business right now in terms of editing software. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I'm not sponsored, by the way. Yeah. Adobe, if you want to sponsor me, I'd gladly take your money. So yeah.
Got like a hat on and all, like your t-shirt.
Yeah.
Your cup's got it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use discount code Jason Brett to get 20% off a monthly subscription.
I can imagine my next video. They have a cat with their logo on, the t-shirt with their logo, a cup with their logo. Guess what, guys? My mic is made by Adobe. Yeah. It's the everything.
Right. DVD Film Bloke says, also, Letterboxd, it's easy to add new films to list. You don't need to make an updated ranking. Yeah, I must admit, using Letterboxd is really easy to use, and it's great to keep on track of what films you've watched and yet to watch.
I got into that box really hard like last year, and then I just stopped. I just stopped using it. I don't know why. It's just
I've never used it actually.
I stopped like collating what I've watched and stuff like that. I just stopped doing it. I don't know why.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I've used it. I used IMDb quite a bit before I got to use Blackbox, but I use them both now. So I've got a bit of OCD about it. I get a bit annoyed if I've rated one film on one and not on the other. I'm like, numbers don't match. I'm like, oh, I'll lose my mind a little bit over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all level peggings at the minute. But yeah, it's great. It's fun and it's easy out, and it's great to see what other people are putting down and ranking the movies, because like I've seen a lot of varied rankings for like The Matrix and Spider-Man, and it's been a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I really like Letterboxd. I use it all the time. I don't know. I like having a diary of what I've watched, and sometimes I just like looking back at it, and I use it to write my reviews on, and I use it as well to kind of keep track of like what my favorite films are, because sometimes I just forget, and if someone asks me like what are my 10 favorite films, I can just kind of look at it and see what I put on there. So yeah, I use it quite a lot.
Yeah, I agree. It is a handy app to have. Yeah. Next up, we have Jules. Hello, boys. Happy New Year to you all.
Right.
Hey,
Hey,
Jules.
Jules.
Especially Andy and the gorgeous Pete. Oh, Jules, you're making me blush.
Thanks, Jules.
DVD from Film Bloke says the Section 3 films I've seen are Christmas Evil, Friday the 13th, 1 and 2, The Thing, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The Exorcist was banned on video for many years, but it wasn't on the DPP list.
Yeah, The Exorcist was an odd one. That was the one that everyone said, "Oh, it's banned, isn't it?" And you said, "No, it's not." It was a bit like Clockwork Orange. It's had that same sort of thing where the director just didn't want to put out. So The Exorcist was a real funny one. I think it was just his reputation got it to be one where the video retailers made sure it wasn't on the shelves. But there was a shop in where I live, just around the corner, actually. I mean, it's not a video library anymore, obviously. It's a fruit and veg shop, as they all seem to become for some mad reason. You could just go in there and just ask the fella for, you got The Exorcist, and he had it behind the counter. So it was the only shop in Whitley Bay you could do that with, which was but everyone knew about it, so we just went there for The Exorcist. You must have made some money off it, I know that much.
I bet.
Yeah.
Oh. We have Tez made this. Hey there, Playtendoguy, came for support. Missed the beginning, sorry. Thanks ever so much, mate. It doesn't matter, you're here, that's all that matters.
It is.
Tez says, what topics you've got? We literally just go by the comments. That's how we'll do all the streams. It's a mix of anything. That's right. Jill says, currently watching Cobra Kai. Has anyone watched any of it yet? A lot of people keep talking about it, but I've watched the first 2 episodes of the first series, quite like it, but I've yet to watch any of the series. But I'm not a big Karate Kid fan.
Yeah, I think I will. I think I will echo your sentiments. I'm not really of a fan either, so I have no inkling to watch it.
Yeah.
I remember watching the first movie, but I don't think I'm really a fan of it. It was all right. But I don't know if I'd watch the series, but then it would be quite good.
Yeah.
I like the first film. I don't love it, as much as most people. I'm entertained by it. That value for it, but it's not like a Back to the Future or Alien for me. It's not. I don't hold it in that regard. Well, I've heard the series is absolutely phenomenal from what people have seen.
I have heard good things about it.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I've only seen the first Karate Kid, and yeah, I thought it was fine. I'm not like a big fan of it. I feel like most people who watch Cobra Kai are people who have the nostalgia for the Karate Kid, and they watched it when they were a kid. But yeah, I only watched the first film for the first time maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and yeah, it was fine, but I'm not really bothered about the rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because Bristolian Dave has finished season 4 and he loved it. It seems to be up there with The Mandalorian as one of the most popular shows on streaming.
Yeah. Oh, everyone reckons this. I haven't heard bad things about it.
No.
It's not as if it could be one of the ones you could get into, but I don't know if I'll get into it because I like the Karate Kid. I think I'd rather get into it. If I got into it, it would just be if I like the show.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say you don't have to be a fan of the Karate Kid to actually like it. So probably will give it a go.
Yeah.
DVD and Phone Bloke says, yeah, the Video Nasty scare happened 15 to 20 years before I was born. Whoa.
Well, I was 15 when it happened. So can you imagine a 15-year-old in a playground in school passing videos around? And it's crazy. People think that, it's only films. But when someone said to you can't watch a film, you just want to go and watch it, don't you? And then you hear about someone getting it, so you just go and don't forget that videos really had only just come out. So they were brand new. They were kind of like the things that people couldn't believe you had in your hand, an actual movie that you can put in a machine and watch anytime you want. So it was brand new, that idea. Plus, there was all these films that weren't ever going to get released in the cinema because they couldn't get certificated. But there was a loophole in because the videos didn't have any classification. So they put the whole lot out until it got copped. And then I think they only got copped because they were just being too outlandish with saying what was in it. And if they'd just been a bit okay with it, it probably would never got to anybody's mind.
There was
myself in the foot.
If you were if you've seen the 2 documentaries, right, John?
Yeah.
It's crazy. You hear some people who were on the censor board, and they were talking about their experience through that time. It's crazy to think the double standard of the people in the higher class saying, "Oh, we're allowed to watch it because we're better than you." You have that kind of mentality. So the working class, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're not intelligent enough to watch these films. They will warp your mind," kind of thing. Now I couldn't believe the hypocrisy and double standards.
That's a good point. I do think that they thought if they were clever enough or better enough than the average Joe, that they were allowed to watch Cannibal Holocaust or I Spit Your Grave. But because we were kind of working class jobs, that we were going to get Cannibal Holocaust and just go out and kill every single animal on the planet, or do anything that mirrored what we're seeing in the things, which far from it. We just wanted to watch something really sensationalist, because when you're a kid, you just want stuff like that. So there's nothing in it. But it was deemed that way because of what you were saying. I think that's that double standards came out. It was a weird time, especially when someone tells you can't watch that because we say so. And they were trying to ban everything at that point as well.
I think I commented on your video, John, the idea that if I was, I don't know, a 20-something kid at that time, I could be put in prison for owning, a copy of Cannibal Holocaust. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. The idea that was a law in place,
well, it was
it's
crazy.
I know.
Well, the fellow who did Nightmares of Damaged Brain, he was told that he couldn't put out a certain cut of the movie. I think he had to cut a minute or 2 out of it, so he didn't, and he just says, "Oh, will do," and he put out the normal one, so he got sent to prison for that. So he's the only one who actually got sent to prison because of not cutting his video, and and heavy fines were, there's a lot of raids. There was raids going on, people getting the house raided because they had tons and tons, because of obviously copying them as well, which was the other thing. If you copied it, if you had copies of it, then you were for it. But if you had your own one, it's the same with them now. You can have them now, but you obviously can't look as if you're going to be giving them or selling them or posting them on or anything. It's got to be your own thing to import to yourself, which is strange because you can say I'm important to myself and then just go and sell it to someone for £1 million. Not that you would, like, but that was the thought they had back in the day, but they don't seem to have that anymore.
Yeah.
They just let anything through,
Mm.
I'm currently working on researching the fact there is still films banned. I think there's still 10 films banned in the UK. I'm not going to say what they are because I haven't figured them out yet. But there is still ones that you can't get. But I don't say if you got some of these movies, I don't know what would happen to you if you had them. That's the other thing. And I don't want to start talking about them. And then sort of like I get a knock on the door and Plod comes to the door and say, "Have you got these 10 films, sir?" Not really, but and I think that most of them are films I wouldn't want to own anyway. So there's that.
Look, if you start talking about it, it's gonna be, if you want them, it'd be good because Facebook's listening to every word, so they'll just serve you adverts. Oh, these are the films you want, sir.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, but the thing is, if I start, and like if I say the films that I think that I haven't got in here, then people will say, "Oh, you're fishing for them ones because you're telling people the 14 you haven't got." But I've never told anyone the ones I haven't got. I'll just say, "Well, I didn't have this until now," and then the next one I get, I'll say I've got this. And then I'm not going to do it as well because I don't really want to, like you say, get the attention of anybody and say that all I do is talk about films that are banned and that, and I get myself a reputation with PC Plod saying oh, I think he's a person of interest, and I'm not really.
I'm assuming these 10 films that are banned still to this day are probably films that contain real murder. I'm assuming that's the only way I could.
I think I've seen 3 of them, and they're awful, mind. They're awful. No, they're not like that. In fact, I don't think real murder films exist. Well, the film Snuff. It's meant to have real killing, and that hasn't got real killing. It's a terrible film. It's one of the ones that I will have to own, but I don't really want to own because it's that bad. I mean, a rubbish film. But no, they're not. They're just they're not very nice. Put it that way. You wouldn't want to watch them. Well, the 3 that I watched, I'll never ever watch again. I have talked about them before on movies that I don't want to. The movies that I don't want to own in my collection. I think a couple of them are on there, but I'll not say them on here because I'll have no video to put out. I'll have 0 views on that one.
There's a lot of films like that I wouldn't have in my collection. Like, so I don't know if you know about the guinea pig franchise. It's just basically it's just torture. That's all the movies are.
It's rubbish. The film is absolute rubbish. Although I'm sure maybe even Corus Shearer said that Guinea Pig 4 is meant to be a decent movie. I've only seen the first 2, and there's just rubbish, absolute rubbish. And that's all it is. Someone gets drugged, taken to a bloke with a big leather overall on, and they just sew them up on a bed for half an hour. That's it.
Well,
what's the point?
Quality content. Like, come on, guys! If you put that on YouTube, you get like 40 million views. Come on, you know people watch that shit. Come on,
Oh yes, it would. Well, that's why people watch it in the first place. But once you see 5 minutes of it, you think, "I wish I didn't watch this." It's not even good. It's not even like doesn't it? It's meant to be real, but it doesn't look real at all.
Isn't there a film? Isn't there a film? Like, I think it's more of a modern film, but it tries to have that kind of video nasty-esque. I don't know what it is, but I swear it's like a guy finds a mermaid and just like puts her in a bath and just hacks her up for 2 hours or something. I've seen clips of it. It's so bizarre, but also disgusting, and I wouldn't recommend watching it to anybody. But
that sounds like it could be Guinea Pig 4, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like a Guinea Pig movie because that's all they do, cook people up. So once you've seen one, you've seen the whole lot. And honestly, don't watch them. They're not even. I'm not saying don't watch them because they're awful. Just watch because they're just rubbish. There's nothing good you can say about them.
Yeah. Right. DVD from Film Bloke says, I believe Cannibal Holocaust is still cut by only a few seconds of real animal cruelty. I believe when it first got a BBFC rating, 5 minutes or something like that was cut.
Yeah. Well, Jason, because we talked about this, the Cannibal Holocaust, the cuts in the Shameless one, and then obviously we've got
Yeah.
the one that's fully uncut, but we've got the animal-free version, which is the way to go with it. I feel.
Yeah, I've got the Grindhouse releasing DVD. It's got 2 discs on it. That's a film that, you know, I feel like I want to see, just to see all the, you know, see what all the hoopla is about. But there's never going to be a time where I'm ready to watch that film. If you know what I mean.
The animal stuff's awful. I mean, no animal stuff is good, period.
Yeah.
But it's barbaric, especially the first one. The first one is I don't know if anyone's seen the full Cannibal Holocaust.
I've only seen the turtle scene, which was
horrendous. Yeah, that's horrendous. But
I couldn't
for me,
believe
there's
what I was
a worse
saying.
one than that.
Yeah.
The first one, it's just awful. Really is awful. I mean, they're all bad. They're not good. I think the tamest one is when they shoot a pig, and that's bad enough.
Yeah.
But the other things are they're just bad. So the animal-free one's the way to go.
Wasn't there a similar cannibal film before Cannibal Holocaust that Deodato worked on? I read about it. Apparently, they basically descale the crocodile while he's alive, or something crazy like that. Something disgusting like that.
I think it's Ultimo Mandible Can Ultimo Mandible Can. No, I can't say it. Ultimo Mondo Cannibal. That's it. 1976, I believe that's the one they're talking about. Or the last cannibal was one of them things. And it's awful.
They skin a crocodile or something like that. I heard anyway.
Well, I've got to get on this list the last Cannibal World, and on the mountain of the Cannibal World and Cannibal God, should I say? And that's meant to have a lot of bad animal stuff in it. Although I've seen it years ago and I can't remember it, but I've kind of got to get it. Unfortunately, it's not a great movie either. But
is this collection, John, going to be a mix of DVDs and Blu-ray? You're not really set on either format, right?
Well, it'll be, the fact is, see, with the Mountain of Cannibal God, you can get it twinned up with another one, which is actually on the banned list as well. And I think that's for about the same price as the American Blu-ray. So I think I'll go with that. And I'm just trying to find out if they're both uncut, which I think they are. I think it's the last Cannibal Man. I think that's on there. So I can get them two. And I see myself a lot of money, because if I go and buy the Blu-ray of Cannibal Man, it costs a lot of money. And Last Cannibal God is Mountain of Cannibal God is quite expensive as well. And obviously the Shameless one of Mountain of the Cannibal God is cut, so I wouldn't get that one. But it's funny when the animal stuff comes up, I always look away. I don't look at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't blame you.
No.
No. Tez says something about Traces was way worse. I agree.
Well, Traces of Death, yeah. I've seen four. There's four of them. I've seen the four of them, but Traces of Death 1 is by far the worst.
Right.
Yeah, there's some awful things.
David Even Film Bloke is talking about that film you were on about called Snuff, which was made to look like a snuff film, even though it was clearly staged.
Aye. It's quite funny. They took an old movie that was rubbish and it doesn't go anywhere, and they cut the end of it off and just made it out that they took the actress and actors that more or less said, all right, that's a wrap. And then they took one of the lasses to the room and they cut her up. But they're not even the same people. And then the camera goes to they go to the camera, we've got to get out of here. We've killed somebody, we've got to get out of here. Run. So it just goes blank and there's no credits. But nobody knows what happened at the end of the real film called Slaughter, which is like a Charlie Manson film, about a Charlie Manson sort of clan. So when they got the snuff film, they tagged the ending on, the ruined Slaughter, and also Snuff is, well, if anyone sees it, it's just not even, you can tell a mile off it's not real at all. I don't know how anyone bought it in the first place to say this is a real snuff movie. It was just all hype.
Right.
Because they wanted to sell tapes, basically.
Sorry, I'm just going to drop out a sec, right?
Yeah, you're fine.
I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, see you in a bit, Jason. Right. Let's get back on. Jill says that to Bristolian and Dave, she started watching episode 8 of season 4 so far and loving it. But yeah, for the Cobra Kai, it seems to be getting glowing reviews. It's up there with Mandalorian as like the top thing. What's it on Netflix now? It used to be on YouTube, didn't it? Like YouTube Premium?
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix now.
Yeah. But it is one Netflix show that actually does get released physically, which is good.
Yes, you're right, it does.
Yeah.
We have a musical studios here, liking the video. Thanks ever so much, mate, for watching. DVD and Film Bloke says, I think one of the only video nasties that was refused a rating last year was Gestapo's Last Orgy. Pretty much all the other video nasties are either uncut or not resubmitted to the BBFC. Okay.
Yeah, 88 Films asked to get it released, and the BBFC says no chance because what was in it. And when it, I don't know if you know what's in it. I'm not going to tell you what's in it, but I haven't seen it. But the things that they talk about that actually happens in the movie, they're awful. So yeah, I can't even think that they thought that was a thing they could put in a film, or two things they could put in a film. So what they did was they just went to America and released it in America. So you can get it. It's just out there. I've seen Tony from Horror and Todge. He picked one up. It's a nice looking, edition. I don't know if it's a nice looking movie. But with the title like Gestapo's Last Orgy, what were they expecting to happen?
Yeah. He also says, oh God, Bud Dwyer footage. I believe it was shown on daytime TV, if not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Streamed live because there was no, because I think they were saying that this person was going to not commit suicide. He's going to do a press conference. So obviously, how they're like on Sky Movies, will go straight to this press conference, and they didn't know what was going to happen. And all of a sudden, when he pulled out his Magnum 44, whatever he pulled out, the gun that was about that big, and but they didn't pull away. He writes, Jason, they didn't pull away from it, and they filmed the whole thing right until the very end.
Wasn't it? I may have got my facts mixed up, but like, because after watching that scene, I looked into this quite extensively, and from what I remember, I swear it was a live. It was live on live television. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I think it went out about 12:30, like just after dinner time. Imagine seeing that live.
Wow.
That would have messed you up. Imagine your kids seeing it.
Yeah, I think I watched a documentary about it, and the two children. I think he had a daughter and a son, and they remember hearing the news come on, and then they'll mention Bud, committing suicide, and they had to turn the TV off immediately, and not. But I think that's even worse, right? You think about your dad's committed suicide, and then the news are just sensationalizing it completely and just showing it over and over again. That's horrible for the people that are mourning this man. That's just not. But that's the media for you, isn't it?
It is that. Yeah. Maybe if he knew what would be his legacy from that, he might not have done it live on telly. He might have just done it in the privacy of his own house. Maybe he wasn't thinking straight.
Yeah. Kawashi Ichi says, question for the chat. What are they talking about?
I'm going to
No.
How old is that comment, though?
I have no idea. Probably about an hour ago.
Oh, so I wasn't there, so,
No. DVD Filmbook says, I've seen the footage. I can handle buckets of fake blood, and yet it's hard to comprehend footage of a real death, much like Vic Marrow's death during the Twilight Zone movie.
That was awful as well.
Yeah.
Very
was there actually footage of that you can see?
Yeah.
Really?
The helicopter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shocking.
It's not good.
No.
It started a whole lawsuit, didn't it, with John Landers? About how about the the safety look changes and all that.
Yeah, it was horrible, and I think the fact is that when you see it, you see the footage from it, you just know that when he's got to hold them two kids and he's going in the water, you just know what's going to happen to him. The main thing is you can see he didn't have a clue what was going to happen to him. It happened in like a second. That's the only saving grace of it, but wow, what a way to go.
Shocking. Jill says, Double Jeopardy, not the film, but about how you can't be tried for the same crime twice.
Yeah, that's correct. It's a strange law, that, isn't it?
So does that mean that's confused me a little bit? Let me try and wrap my brain around what that means. Does that mean you're accused of a crime and found not guilty, and then that case is closed, but they've reopened it and then tried to accuse you again? Is that what that means? And then they can't do that because you've been found not. Is that what that means?
I think it's basically like that, but I think there's a bit more loopholes to it than that. I think if you went and killed somebody and that you got off with it, and then it was just because you see these people who get like this DNA come out and they get tried for. There were always a victim, there was someone of interest, and then they don't get them, then they get them later on. But yes, it is a thing, but I don't know that you'll have to probably research that one to find out exactly what it means. I
could go the really kind of like funny route and go, well, that means all the murderers out there can kill after the first one and not get tried for it.
That's right. You can't be a serial killer, can you? You're just a killer.
Yeah.
Wow.
How many people have you killed? One, according to the law.
That's right.
Yeah. DVD Full Bloke says, also, I have a problem about being morbidly curious about what happened to him as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? Jules says, Jason, how is the gorgeous Soph, wonderful human being Soph is?
Soph hasn't been well today. She's been a bit unwell, but she's taking medication and she's just like chilling out and trying to sleep and that. But she's okay. And yeah.
Well, I hope she's all right soon.
Yeah.
Get well soon.
Get well soon, Soph.
Huh? I have sleep. Oh, she has sleep, so she's all right.
Aye, she's a good lass, Soph. Look after her, Jason.
Of course I will,
I know you will.
DVD and Film Bloke says, also, I can watch gory and over-the-top horror films, and yet I'm used to and still do go quite queasy learning about human biology.
Yeah, I don't like to watch real-life operations.
No, I can't sit and watch that either.
Yeah, I can't. I like medical gore. I can't watch. Like my mum watches this program. I think it's like Dr. Pimple Popper or something. I can't watch that. That's disgusting.
I've heard of that.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
but my mum's like, it's great. I was like, it's not. It's disgusting. Turn it off.
See stuff like that. You see, my wife can watch all the medical stuff. She watches all the really horrible medical operations with cringy things with arms hanging off. Yet she can't watch a gory film. Which is a big bizarre. Does that make her more of a psychopath than me? Just putting that one out
there. Because me and Mike, we've got a friend who's a doctor, and he has done autopsies and things like that. And I think he's delivered babies as well, hasn't he?
He's done everything. Yeah.
He's done quite a long. He's fascinating to talk to.
So he's really been on both ends of the spectrum there, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's done a lot.
Got to give him a lot of respect.
He's got this for it. But it runs in his family, doesn't it? Like because his parents are doctors. brother's a doctor. He's born with it, and he's like, I think he's sort of like, it was what he was going to go into naturally, but I couldn't do it personally. Just don't have the stomach for it.
No,
couldn't do it.
Too much.
I think like I said, like I can watch like really gory movies. You know, you could just throw one out there, whatever. Like I can watch like Itchy the Killer, like really some horrific movies with some horrific violence in it. But obviously, medical gore, I can't really watch. Medical kind of stuff, I can't really watch. I think there's a disparity there where that's real. I think that's what it is.
Exactly the same. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
you're watching a film that's fake, but you watching a medical thing, that's real, and that's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw, that the German fella. I don't know if he's dead now, actually, but he done them ones where he got the bodies and he sort of put them into this. They took all the skin off them, and he made them, and he put in some kind of jelly into them, and it hardened, and he put them into poses, the bits of bodies. Do you remember that fella?
I remember him doing it on television.
Well, he had a thing of his up in Newcastle in the Centre for Life. They had a display of all his stuff, so I went, and it was quite fascinating, really. What was that German fella called? The one who I'm talking to my wife, actually. I'm not just talking to this at all. You're the one who done that the bits of bodies. Remember it? And they had it up in the Centre for Life. Remember one went up? Yeah, but do you remember what we saw there? When he had... Well, what they did was, I'll try and be cool about this. They had the bit of the anatomy, the male anatomy, and it was all taken to bits, and it was all in front of your face, what it would look like. And they had the things, and they had the thing, and it was just... And you were looking at it, and I was going, that's it. But it was awful to see that in your face of a dead like that, taking the bits. Remember it? Yeah. So that was awful.
I never thought we'd be talking about this on the stream tonight.
Neither are, actually. I might not get a sleep night thinking about that thing. It was awful. There were some bits in it were like really bad. Some bits you shouldn't have really seen. But it was quite interesting in the way how they posed these people. Apparently, they were just people were giving the bodies up to science, and you just did it.
Yeah. Right. Edward's here, and he's got a question. What do you think of the artwork for the Blu-ray of the new Ghostbusters Afterlife? Isn't that just the one with like the Ecto one going through the streets? It looks all right, but I think it looks a bit like it could be just a placeholder image.
It looks a bit like unfinished.
Yeah.
I've seen two artworks. I don't know if they're official. I've seen the 4K artwork where they're grabbing is it Muncher, the guy, the Slimer thing?
Yeah.
Like where they're grabbing him, they're in the car and they're grabbing him with the proton beam. That was the 4K, but I don't think that's what we're getting. I think that's a US 4K.
Yeah.
And I've seen an artwork I actually prefer, which is like the trap and it's bursting open, but you've got all the characters in the beam that comes out of the trap. I prefer that artwork. I hope that's what we get.
Yeah.
I've
seen that artwork on Amazon, and I've seen the other one with the Ecto one on HMV. So again, the film comes out the end of the month, so hopefully the official artwork will be revealed soon.
Have you seen that deluxe set that they're releasing of like all 3 films?
Yeah,
it's like £150 or something. But
did you see? Sorry, go on. Sorry, cut you.
I was just like, yeah. I mean, because I had a look at it, but there's like no information about it at all. Like, there's like no description for it. Because I've heard rumors that there's meant to be like an extended cut of the first film or something that's never been seen before.
Really?
And they're going to have deleted scenes for the second film, which have never been seen, but I don't know if that's true or not.
It's amazing if they've got that things, because I've never put them on anything before. It's quite astounding that.
Yeah.
So I see they're missing Ghostbusters. 2016 out. I think they've just hide that out of the box and it's not there.
Yeah. Did you They're putting that back in though, because the Paul Feig, the director of 2016 Ghostbusters, cried on Twitter about it. Like
Really?
he's literally like really unprofessionally put at Sony, I think this must be a mistake. We got loads of fans for this movie. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you do, but like I think this ultimate set is for like proper fans of the, and it's chronologically like it's a
Yeah.
you know, a full story, right? Putting Ghostbusters 2016 in the set wouldn't make sense in terms of a chronology kind of way. And
I like it. I like the movie, but I don't consider it a Ghostbusters movie.
That's fair.
Mm.
I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say it is.
It's all right. It's quite funny.
I wouldn't watch it again personally, but I think a lot of people are forgetting what the word ultimate means, because people are saying, "Oh, you can't have an ultimate set without having every movie." They're mistaking the word ultimate for complete. Ultimate doesn't mean complete. Ultimate means like quintessential, like the best set. You know, the you know, something like that. It doesn't mean, you know, complete.
Yeah.
They could put out a complete set. You know, why don't they? But there's a lot of crying about the absence of 2016 Ghostbusters from that set, which is I find quite funny.
Yeah. Isn't it going to be a digital code in America?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there's already people already deciding to cancel their pre-orders just because Sony kind of bowed to this guy crying.
Oh, really?
Which they've lost a bit of respect from me, because if they were doing it to intentionally have a chronological set of Ghostbusters 1, 2, and Afterlife, and that's what it was for. It was meant to be. This is a complete story. Boom. That's great. The fact that they've kind of bowed down to this guy demands on Twitter is a bit weak on Sony's part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah.
I could have put 2016 out as just a Blu-ray extra.
The frustrating thing about this whole deal is that the people crying about its absence are not the people that are going to buy this set. They're not the people that are going to buy physical media. So why can't they just shut the fuck up? Like, I'm sorry, but please, can you shut up?
They're probably people who have no interest in watching the older Ghostbusters films and Afterlife.
Yeah.
I have noticed big studios pandering to people that will not buy the physical media. So it really frustrates me to see Sony do this. I couldn't care either way if it was there or if it wasn't there. But the fact that they've kind of done a U-turn when they had this idea in mind, and just because this guy cried on Twitter, it kind of makes them look a bit weak. I don't know.
Right, we've got David Beach here. Good evening, guys. It's nice to see you back. Did you have a nice Christmas and a New Year?
Yeah. Did David?
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Okay. Kaoshi Ichi says, also don't forget there was a before about the souffle and after about the souffle.
I agree. I don't know what it means, but I agree.
It's Breathless, isn't it? It's the start of the French New Wave, that film in the 60s. I can't remember the director for the life of me, because it's one I watched it when I was doing A-level film studies. There's a remake of it as well with Richard Gere. I think that came out in the late 80s, early 90s. I've not seen it though. Well, it's all right. It's a very arty movie. Yeah.
Okay.
Never heard of it. I might be one of the ones where you know the cover, but you don't know really the title.
Yeah.
Okay. David said, did you get a nice, good present for Christmas? You want to go, Randy?
Yeah, I just got money.
The tumbler.
I don't really like when people get me movies, because it's like they're like, "Oh, we don't know what movies you've got," and I'm just like, "Oh, it's fine."
Yeah.
So, that's just me.
No, the other one, the big tumbler thing.
Yeah.
You know the one that says tumbler. Wow.
Well, what about you, Mike?
Yeah, same. I just got money and just been using that to buy whatever I want.
Yeah. Jason?
I just got I'm at this point in my family where my sister would just be like, "This is my budget. What do you want? Send me a link, and I buy it." So I just sent her a bunch of Arrow titles I wanted. So it's just got me those. So I got a bunch of Arrow titles, and then I got a H&V gift voucher, and what did I get? I bought what did I get? I got The Howling on Blu-ray, and I got Scream on 4K with the H&V voucher.
Nice. What about you, John?
Well, it's just money all the way for me. That's what I've got forever. Because everyone would say, well, we'll buy us something, we probably got it, or we don't know what you want. Or they might buy us something and think, well, that's really what I didn't want. So just avoid all of that. They just give us money. But what I want to show you is my son, who's 25, going on 26 this year, actually. He says, he come in and he said, oh, look what I've got. Because he hardly ever speaks, actually. He's too busy lifting weights to speak. And he said, he's got his boxing gloves over there hitting things. But anyway, he says, guess what I've got off my girlfriend? I says, oh, what? And he had this.
Oh, nice.
You know that, Andy, don't you? Have you made that one up yet?
No. I've only got the 89 stuff, but yeah. That looks like a good set.
So that's probably cost a lot of money. He's got a few other things. He's got a Venom one as well. It got to take Yonks to do that. He's done that Batwing over there as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why it's there. It should be in his room, shouldn't it? It shouldn't be there. And I'm not going to tell him that.
As for me, I got a whole stack of films for Christmas, and I also got a Switch OLED, which was pretty cool.
Well, I saw your video. Is that the one that when you were half asleep?
Yeah, about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Stuff actually, it was never ending. Actually, the video I was thinking, oh wow, we've got some great stuff. I always like to see what people get.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
The best thing and the worst thing about YouTube is there's that many great channels putting great stuff out, but you've got that much to watch. It's really hard to get around.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might get across one which comes up me feed, and it'll be one that's from a bit of a time ago. But I made a conscious effort this year to watch a lot more videos than I had towards the end of last year. That's me. That's me.
I'm so behind on pretty much everyone's videos. Like everyone I'm subscribed to, I'm so behind on all their videos. It's difficult to find the time to balance everything.
It is what it's hard, and I mean you start your job there, so Jason. So you've got to factor time into it, and sometimes some weeks you can do it, and some weeks you can't. But sometimes you try to backtrack to them and pick them up along the way. Well, there's some great ones out there. Don't get us wrong. There's some brilliant ones. Very entertaining. Yeah. I don't watch anything on TV these days. It's always just YouTube all the way. Yeah,
I've been YouTube for about a good 8-9 years now. Like I just traditional television is just not even in my room. That's my mum's domain, is traditional television. Me, it's just YouTube and movies now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I agree. DVD Fun Bloke says, I'm now going to watch UHF. I will see you later, hopefully. Wow, we must be about an hour and a bit behind the chat. Right. Okay, I lied. I'll try and comment some more, says Koshi Ichi.
The enigmatic.
Yeah, subs there.
Actually, I've got a subscriber mail off Cora. Which it was great because he messages just before Christmas, I think at Christmas, and said, "Can I buy you something?" And I says, "Well, you don't have to, because But he insisted, so I said, "Yeah," and he said that you can have something from the Eureka sale. So I said, "Oh wow!" So he did, and it's just come today. And 2 movies that I've been really wanting to collect. It's one of the ones that's been on my list for a while. And I took advantage of it, so I really appreciate what I've filmed it. He said, "Don't film a video," and I said, "Don't be stupid. That's not going to happen. I am going to film a video." So it's in me. It's a video that I got today. That'll find its way into a video somewhere. because I've got me. I've got quite a few pickups. I picked up this amazing thing in HMV the other day. I think I'm going to put the video out tomorrow if I can cut it up in time. You'd be surprised at the quality of this thing that I saw. It's one of the best things I've ever physically held in my hand for £15 from HMV. Keep an eye out for that. It's very obscure. I never heard of it before, but beautiful set.
Ooh, look forward to that.
Yeah.
Soph says her top movie tip is to watch all movies, give them all a chance. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Don't leave them all sealed on my on your shelf like I do.
Even if I get a movie and I don't really like it too much at first, I will give it a second try unless it's utter trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't buy 100 movies when you've got 100 movies on your shelf you haven't watched yet. Like me.
Well, mine is probably close to 1,000 movies I haven't watched, and I'll still keep buying.
I was just generalizing. Jeez.
Soph says I watched Spider-Man No Way Home and Free Guy lately. Both great films.
Yeah.
Free Guy was amazing. I love that. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's
I
good
agree.
fun. Good fun.
Yeah, it is.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, a lot of fun. Loved No Way Home. Thought it was great. Pretty much ticked all the boxes for me, and Free Guy was a lot of fun. You know, really good.
I feel like Ryan Reynolds he's found this kind of like he's on this kind of tear, you know, like not Daredevil, Deadpool, Deadpool 2, Detective Pikachu, Free Guy. He's kind of on this like really good run at the moment, I think.
Yeah. I just think he comes across like a really good character in his movies.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that Red Notice that came out not too long ago. That's the only one I'm.
And there was Hitman's Wife Bodyguard as well this year, which I heard wasn't very good either.
I watched that the other night, and I thought it was really good.
I've got both of them in a double pack Blu-ray, so I've got them to watch at some point.
I thought it was so funny, and without spoiling anything, but obviously you know that there's Ryan Reynolds. He's the bodyguard to Samuel L. Jackson, and what's it called? The woman.
Salma Hayek.
That's it.
Hayek, yeah.
So she's his wife. So, but they get held hostage, and they've got like bags on their head. So they'll get the bags whipped off, and I think Samuel L. Jackson and maybe someone else is like that, all like smooching, you know, like slobbering all over each other. And Ryan Reynolds is saying, "Can you put the bag on my head, please? Again, can you put it back on?" But it's just so. I think it was I think I enjoyed it more than the first one. I really enjoyed the first one.
I'm looking forward to them. I've not seen either of them yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one
It's
yet.
a good laugh.
The first one's pretty good.
Yeah.
The first one's all right. Gary Oldman's in it as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
John, have you sat down to watch *Malignant* yet?
Yes, I have. Got it. Oh. Shazam.
Did you like it, sir?
I did.
Yeah.
I certainly did. Yes, I did. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I was watching it thinking, this is okay. I can see it. I can get it. And then it went to a certain area where I thought, this is a really good film.
My favourite film of last year, man.
Well, I'm obviously doing a ranking of what I think of. I don't know if I would class. Well, I think I saw it this year, so I don't know if I would class it as last year. I probably would, but it'll be in the top 10 for sure. It's good.
I don't think we'll get a film quite like it ever again, personally, because it was made on a 40 million budget, but only made 25 million at the box office, so it bombed hard. So
I'm so surprised it bombed. Like, I really am surprised at that.
Mm-hmm.
It deserved to be quite one of them ones that was like talked about a bit more. It seemed to be under the radar and stay there, which I thought, well, hang on a minute. I thought this was meant to be a big but it didn't get a 4K, it didn't get nothing. It just got sort of chucked out on Blu-ray, and I was like, wow, but it's much better than that. It's much better than what it deserved.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll become it'll find its audience later down the line.
I think it will. I think it'll come to life eventually, and it deserves to, because it doesn't deserve to just be something in the pound land in a couple of weeks' time. It's a decent movie, and I haven't seen one like it before. So, and I tell you what, I was going to get it obviously, and I was not thinking too much about it, but on the strength of Jason, yours, and obviously Pete's, the one that you mentioned about it. I said, that's when I went and bought it. So I said, I've got to get this before I went back. I was going to wait till I went back to the shops, but I'm going to get it from Amazon, and that's the strength. Like I was saying with yourselves, Andy and Mike, when you talk about something, and sometimes just certain movie just clicks the way you express it, and you think, I'm having that on the strength of that, and that's what I like about YouTube, because I think if Malignant sort of came into radar that much that I just knew I had to get it on the strength of, the people I trust in this community to deliver me a movie that I think that's great. Because sometimes you'll hear one talk about and you think, oh, that sounds trash, But no, your judgment. I appreciate the fact that you've steered us on the right path for Malignant. Sure.
Because I think Keith of Euphoria Pictures sat down to watch it last night, because he sent me a message on Instagram going, "I'm finally getting to watch this." I'm really terrified that I've overhyped it for some people, because I've just gone on about it forever.
Well, the good thing about it was, I heard what you were saying about it, but I didn't hear. And the good thing, and Keith was the same. He didn't know anything about the movie. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't even know what the title meant. I thought, why is it called that? It just seemed like an odd title. A bit like Insidious sounded a bit weird, but anyway, you kind of understand that eventually. It was the same with that one, but I don't think that you did that with me. You just made me the way it was coming across. I thought that's something I want to check out, So no, it didn't do that for me. I wasn't expecting anything, because I didn't actually know anything about it. I was just thinking this should be good, and it was.
Yeah. It's in my top 10 horror films of all time. Like, it's in there, easy for me. Like, I've not been this excited for a horror film since maybe Evil Dead 2013, and that says something. Like, I guess it's like with everyone with films. There's always a film that will pop out of nowhere and just be the exact film you've wanted at the exact time in your life and just be amazing. That's what Malignant was for me last year.
Yeah,
it was the perfect movie at the perfect time. And I was like, yes, I'm all in. It was so good.
If you see a movie at the right time, it becomes something a bit more special than. Sometimes you're not in the mood for something, you want to sit down and you think that's rubbish. But then you go back to it when you're in better mindset, and you'll say, oh, that was pretty good, that. I think, say for that, I was up for watching that, even though I thought to myself, this is going to be pretty bad. But I was in the mindset to say, I want to watch a video nasty, a bad one I haven't seen. And it turned out to be a pretty decent movie, although I could understand anybody watching it and think it was utter trash. But it's got some good points in it. I think if they remade that, I think they would make a good film. Because the acting's abysmal. Apart from two people in it, there's two real good actors in it. And there's like a lot of other people who've probably only ever done one film in their life, and it was that film. And they can't act at all. It's such on a shoestring. And when you've got like sound on it, but it's actually, they've probably just took a microphone in the room, and it's the sound that's captured at that point. People walking on floorboards, and it's like as if it's too just in the room that you haven't got a professional microphone there. It was a lot of that in it as well, but it was all like that. But no, it was all right. It was quite decent. And when there was like sort of scenes in it were like a little bit not spooky, but there was something going to happen. They played like this sitar music, this ding 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 started to go, and you thought, what's that? And then something would happen, you think, and they thought every time there's some crazy thing going to happen, there was this sort of like crazy sitar music playing, which I don't understand. But that's the things I like about these movies. They're such oddities.
Yeah. Tez says, any DC movie fans here? Any thoughts on the latest news from the Flash movie? What was announced?
They're planning to erase the Zack Snyder films out of existence in terms of because this is going to be like a Flashpoint multiverse film, isn't it? Apparently,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers are planning to erase the Zack Snyder films, so Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Justice League. I think those three. And then they're replacing Batman and Superman with Supergirl and Batgirl for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Ooh.
So yeah, I don't understand that because Superman and Batman are probably Warner Brothers' two biggest names in comic book films. So that kind of baffles me. And the Batwoman series was utter trash. So I don't understand the decision personally.
It seems very odd.
No, have them running in tandem as well, but I just don't understand why they've got to eradicate something completely and change it when the actual it's been like that forever. That's just the way it is.
They should be additions rather than replacements, right? You know, they're in the same universe.
You had all the Wiccan versions of the comic books. You had Spider-Woman, you had all of that. And they were decent. I used to collect the Spider-Woman comics from the 70s, and they're all right. But they can be in. I think she did cross over with Spider-Man in a few of her comics. But they were both of the thing that they were allowed to exist. But Spider-Woman wasn't going to ever knock. There was no talk about one taking over the other one. They didn't have to be. I don't know why it's such a big thing now to think that because you want to make a strong female person, fair enough, but then it's got to completely wipe out the fact that James Bond is now becoming a woman if that happens in Doctor Who. What's that all about? It should not be a thing that was even a thing because Doctor Who is a man.
I can tell you what it's about, but it's going to get political, and I don't want to get political. It's basically studios pandering to a group of people that think they're the defenders of the social zeitgeist. That's all it's about, and it's pathetic. It's just like let's just have movies that are just movies. I don't want no your gender bollocks, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be a bit of a fad. I think it's going to go away in a few years' time. It's not going to be a thing. It's just a thing that's around at the minute.
I think about it this way, right? I think Spider-Man: No Way Home. I'm not going to say anything about spoilers because in case there's people in the chat that haven't seen it yet, it's not fair. Yeah. But just on the pretense, that film has made over $1 billion, right? And that just to me that says if you build it, they will come, right? If you build the movie for the fans will come in droves. The film's proved that it's made over $1 billion. It's the first film in the pandemic era, as they say. Yeah. Even though studios need to stop blaming their films have failed because of the pandemic because it's stupid. Anyway, that film to me proves that you can put out a great, solid movie with great moments, just a top-notch, great movie, and people will come. That film doesn't have any social commentary, doesn't have any kind of social kind of pandering, nothing like that. It's just a straight up great superhero film. In my opinion, probably one of the best superhero films ever made. That's just me. Yeah. And also it made $1 billion without the studios pandering to China. It hasn't gone to China yet. So that tells you something else. So Hollywood should really listen and go, right, we've made a film that we haven't put any kind of like social agendas in. We haven't gone to China with it, and it's made loads and loads of money. What can we learn from this? And I think they'll figure out that just make good films, and people will go and see good films. It's that simple, guys. Come on. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done rambling.
No, I think when they try to not offend people, I think they offend more people of the fact that they're offended by the fact that they've made a film that's basically so safe that it doesn't do anything. And you say, because that person has always been a man, well, I think it'll have to be a woman now to balance it all up. Say, well, no, the female versions exist in the comics. Just bring them out. Everybody knows that. There's always been a woman version of anything. Superwoman, the whole thing. Yeah. But they don't seem to do that now. They seem we'll bring the woman out, but we'll get rid of the man. It's pathetic, really. I do think it'll go away eventually because it's been around for a while, but not. It's going to take.
Yeah. Jill says, "Oh, Pete, you'll love it." I'm gonna think she's talking about Cobra Kai. Ted says, "I watched season 1, but forgot to catch up." Cobra Kai, that is. Yeah, seems like a lot of people do really enjoy it. Jill says, "Just a word of warning: be careful you type as my cyber crush got a love ban for saying that." I have no idea what Jules is talking about there. But Jules did say Cobra Kai is superb and you can love it for it's a superb series. Okay.
Yes, I will say it if ever comes around, I will say it.
Yeah. We've got Mark Stewart here. Hello, guys. Hey, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Thanks for joining.
Hello, Mark.
We got Neo here. He says, "Did you pick up the Monsterverse Steelbook set?" No. What about you, Jason?
I was strongly underwhelmed by that, so no, I didn't bother.
No.
I've got them all in 4K, so I'm not really desperate for a steelbook set, to be honest.
Yeah, because they're all 4Ks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark says, "Getting jailed for owning video nasties is ridiculous. We're sport these days with internet streaming." Totally.
Yeah, I think it's completely true. It seems like it's a great thing to talk about, but it's a thing. It's like a thing. It's an old age thing now, because it's where you can. I mean, if you think about what you can see on YouTube, you can probably see things that are 10 times worse than there's anything in the banned video nasty. You really can. There's probably the most awful animal cruelty on the line, you know, that you can see maybe on websites that are not even YouTube. So it's not. I don't think that it's not really about that, but it's just about the whole feeling of the time when you just knew that if anybody come knocking on your door, you had to be so secretive about this. It was like passing drugs around. Not that I've passed drugs around, but you know, you can just say, just kind of like, you know, I'll say about that video a little bit later on, but make sure nobody knows. And your mate's dad had it hidden in a box in a secret panel in the wall, or they put it in like a Bambi case, and you take it out, and it was like something like "I spit in your grave, Bambi." But it was crazy. But yeah, these days it seems a bit incredulous to like younger people, because they think, well, how could that happen? Because what you've got in front of your eyes all the time now of these. There was a time when it just didn't happen.
Interesting.
I think the whole idea of like movies in general, if you go back to those days, I think there's something lost with movies now in terms of like the physical side of stuff. Because yeah, sure, we've got the internet, we've got all these streaming services with all the movies you could ever want right at your fingertips. But I'm going to feel like an old bastard, but I feel you probably guys can relate because you're of a similar age of, you know, remembering VHS. But going into a Blockbuster and just be like, that's got an awesome cover, let's just watch that one. Could be anything, you know, but you know, you look at a cover, you might read a little bit of the blurb on the back and you think, I'm going to rent that today. It could be the best film ever. It could be the worst film of all time, but you just never know. Yeah. Now, the internet, it's just got, you know, if a film's going to be good or bad before you've even thought about even watching it.
Yeah, there was just no spoilers, to be honest. Every time you walked in the video shop, everything you were seeing was just off your own personal taste, or you and your mate was just walking and say, look at that cover there. Let's get that out. And you might be taking a bit of a gamble, but nobody ever knew what anything was about, which was brilliant. Can you imagine that these days? Like, I mean, I know you're getting spoilers for Spider-Man, but imagine that you knew when Spider-Man come out that nobody would spoil it for you at all, or they couldn't spoil it for you. That's but it can't happen these days. But it's just amazing. I think it happens.
I'll always
experience movies.
I'll always remember, I used to have this guy who used to drive every week. He used to drive down my road and stop outside my house. He had like a boot full of videos, and he would like rent them to the street. So, like, as an adult, I realized how illegal that is. But I used to, every week, I used to be excited. Like, oh, the video man's coming today. I'm gonna see what I can rent. You know, it used to be quite exciting. You know, I remember
Yeah.
one day he come by and he had Mortal Kombat on video, and I hadn't seen it yet. Like this is like the live action Mortal Kombat. I was like, oh, can we get Mortal Kombat? Yeah. Oh, those were the days, guys. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
I-
used to
I
run home with
remember-
this that we've been salivating over for months and months, and he eventually got that copy. He was running home to watch it. He would watch it as many times as you could before you had to give it back to the person or the shop. You would have to maybe have it out maybe a day or something, or 2 days. You probably watched it about 15 times before you give it back. It was just mental.
I remember going into Blockbusters and just going down the horror section, and the covers just jump out at you, and you know you just wonder what the hell are these films about. Like the one I remember seeing, like Return of the Living Dead, Hellraiser,
Yeah.
and one that stuck out to me was Elm Street 3.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
was, like I absolutely cherish the Elm Street movies I've got on VHS because because of that reason with Blockbusters. I just remember going down the aisle, seeing them, and just wanting to watch them. Obviously, I was too young, but you know, whenever they'd come on TV, it'd be like, "That's what I've seen in Blockbusters. I'm going to watch that tonight."
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
It was just a different feeling. I mean, these days, if a film comes out, it's in the movies and it's on the shelves in about 2 weeks' time, and then in a sale in about 3 weeks' time, and then and then Poundland in a year's time. It's like films have no worth these days. Yet sometimes when you had, like, I know that somebody had an original reel-to-reel of Jaws in the house, and I think we didn't see it all, but somebody was playing it and said, "Oh, come and have a look at this," and we're seeing it flickering away in this darkened room. And just the fact of somebody actually owning something that you could do that way. And we used to say to this kid all the time, "Can we go and watch that Jaws?" And he said, "Oh, my dad won't do it because he won't have views in the house." That type of thing. You know, like your old yobs, but we're yobs. But a gang full of kids watching his prized possession of Jaws on this reel. So it just shows you, you know, and you just thought about it. But these days you just say, "Oh, Jaws," you just press a button and it's on. I mean, it's great that you can do that, but also it loses a bit of its mystique.
Yeah.
Also, I remember like you'd go and see a Disney film in the cinema. You'd wait a year or two before it came out on video. Like not now, it'd be in the cinema and it's like 2 months. It's, oh, here's the 4K release. Oh, great! Literally, I swear, the Lion King. I swear that took like 2 years to come out on video. Like I swear it did, because I remember seeing it in the cinema as a kid, and it took forever to come out on video. Well, it felt like forever anyway.
No, it wasn't quick.
So the turnaround time when it concerns physical media is like so quick now. It's unbelievable.
Especially this past year, it's like literally about 2 months. It's unbelievable.
It's been the quickest this year. Hands down the quickest.
Yeah.
But it's all going back to normal now. I'm finding with like your Ghostbusters and Last Night in Soho. It feels ages since I saw those at the cinema.
Yeah. Once we start this year's movies, I think it'll go back to like, was it 5-6 months? Then it comes out in physical.
Yeah. Because Black Widow came out very quick, and Shang-Chi came out very quick.
Like No Time to Die was out within like a month and a half.
Yeah,
that was quick.
Yeah.
Right. Kawashia Ichi says the guinea pig movies are as fake as apple pie.
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant.
Actually, it looks like they use it.
Right. Okay, Jules says Pete looks sexy in a. Okay. I'm blushing here, Jules. Please stop. AJ's Movie Place said, "Good evening, all. Have to watch on catch up as up at 4 a.m. and need my sleep." Whoa.
Wow.
Hello, AJ. Yeah, it's not nice getting up early in the morning. I tell you.
No. Bristolian Dave says, "I own a few of the Cannibal movies thanks to the Shameless releasing them on Blu-ray."
I was surprised when they actually got released because I didn't think they would even get released. I thought they'd been denied, but they got put through.
Mark says, John, I like your Marilyn Monroe picture.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It's 3 actually, if you can see it. 3
wow.
pictures of Marilyn. My wife's a big Marilyn fan. Well, I am as well. I don't watch more. I mean, I like Something Like It Hot. I think she's great, but a bit of a sad person in real life, I suppose.
Yeah.
Really.
Did you hear about how of a dirty slob she is in real life? Apparently, like if you look at, like, there's like been like interviews with her like maids and that, and they talk about how like she'd just be like laying in bed with like kebab next to her and just be just slobby and just disgusting. Like literally, like that's apparently what she was like. She was just like a lazy, like just slob.
I had visions of, like you remember Wayne and Wayne Netter from the TV show. That I imagine it looked a bit like Wayne Netter. What do you like? We went to this place. I think it might have been Ridley's, believe it or not, in London, and they had a room done up as Marilyn Monroe's room, and it had pictures of her clothes actually in the clothes, which was odd to see, stuff that she actually had. But they didn't have any kebabs on the bed.
We've got Keith from Euphoria Pictures here. Hello to all. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're doing well, Keith.
Hello.
Thanks for joining.
Hi, Keith.
I wonder if he's still on. We can watch him if you enjoyed him or not.
Tez says he has a DVD series as well. I don't know what's that in the tone of, but Electric Geek says, is it not just a digital copy of Ghostbusters 2016? Yeah, I think it is, but it's only like the American copy. I don't think the UK copy comes with a digital copy of it, does it? David says, have you watched the original Aladdin cartoon version, and have you watched the other 2 ones?
I've seen the original.
Yeah. Prince of Thieves and Return of Jafar, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
I've seen all 3. I've not seen the sequels in a very long time though. But I think they're quite competent from what I remember.
Yeah, I think they're decent enough. Yeah. What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I've seen half of Return of Jafar. I've seen the original hundreds of times, but I think Return of Jafar, I think that was like a pilot for the Disney TV show it was doing at the time, and they just sort of cut it as one film, because I think when you watch it, you can see like the edits are very heavy, so it feels like 3 episodes put together. I think it was Dan Castellaneta as well who did the voice of the genie in Return of Jafar, and I think Robin Williams did it in the 1st and the 3rd film.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
That rings a bell, actually. That.
Yeah,
because he fell out with Disney, didn't he, Robin Williams? Because they.
Yeah, I think so. Ooh. David said, Jason, how many 4Ks do you own?
I can't say off the top of my head, but I do have a collection video coming very soon, so look out for that.
David said, have you watched the latest Matrix movie, and did you like it or not? Are you going to pick it up when it comes out on Blu-ray?
I'm not in a rush to see it. Yeah. I'm just not a big fan of the original trilogy, if I'm honest. I think the first film's good. I think the sequels are good on a surface level. But I've heard too much mixed things about this one. I wanted to end the year on a high. So the last proper film I saw at the cinema, Spider-Man No Way Home. So I kind of just wanted to leave that where it was. But I'm not in a rush to see it. But I will eventually see it.
It actually genuinely surprised me, because I wasn't expecting much from it, but I actually I actually really liked it.
Okay.
It wasn't what I was expecting at all. It was very meta in places, very self-aware.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it. I skipped the second and third film, which I shouldn't have done. I just watched like some recaps of the story on YouTube and watched straight into the fourth one. It had some few decent moments, but it felt like it was too long. It was like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went back and watched the sequels because I never liked the sequels, but I actually do quite enjoy them now after having that rewatch of them. And overall, I like the new one.
How does the new one how does it stack up with the sequels? Is it on par with the sequels, or is it better than them?
It's probably on par. I mean, like I say, I didn't like the sequels at all, like historically, but I've enjoyed them a lot more now. So yeah,
I've not watched those in years. So
yeah. The first one's still, miles ahead of the rest of them, but yeah, I actually didn't mind the fourth one.
That's cool. Edward says, who's picking up the new Ghostbusters Afterlife and Last Night in Soho when they come out on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Already got them on pre-order.
Day one.
I've got
Last Night in Soho. I'm not too sure about Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll have to see it first before I decide to pick it up or not. Because funny enough, I'm not a fan of Ghostbusters in general, but I do know that I've heard some good things about this one. So I do want to see it, put that way. I don't know if I want to own it. Why own the third movie? You think about it, and then I'll have to go and get the other two, and I don't really want them. Some of it's stuck, but I will see it definitely.
Yeah, I've got the HMV Cine edition of the Last Night in Soho 4K on pre-order.
That looks nice.
It's been delayed though.
Now is it?
Yeah, it was meant to come out like mid-January, but it's been delayed to like end of January, beginning of February. But hopefully that's going to be that's a film that's going to look unbelievable in 4K. I can see it now.
Definitely the colours.
I haven't seen it though. Has anybody seen Last Night in Soho?
Yeah,
I loved it. Loved it. Yeah.
Fantastic, brilliant film.
Right. It looks good, mate.
I'm going to say this, John. Between Malignant and Last Night in Soho, they have kind of created this giallo kind of like resurgence, sort of. So I think it'd be right up your street. I think.
Oh yes, I'm up for that. I love me giallos, even the bad giallos I like. So yeah, and I did like Malignant for that thing. So yes, definitely. But I think Malignant can take the sort of giallo trope and turn it on its head, which is what I like about it. It's kind of like that, but then it takes it to a place where no giallo would ever go, which I like. I think it's clever.
Yeah, it's great. I love that film.
I think you're dying to talk about it, Jason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You could talk for hours about Malignant, couldn't you? You love it so much.
No, it's only because there's a new convertee in the chat, which is John. He's the newly converted. It's like a cult, isn't it? Like Malignant cult. It's like the newly converted. Heedy, the Malignant cult. Please welcome John to our ranks.
Yeah.
James is here. All right, guys. Thanks
Hey,
for
James,
joining,
right.
James.
Hey, James.
Hi, James.
Right. Koroshi Ichi says, Free Guy was lame as shit. What a missed opportunity that was. Glad I saw it on Disney Plus. Paid by my neighbour. The new West Side Story was just as bad. Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can understand people not liking it. I got tons of enjoyment out of it, but yeah, it's not for everyone.
Totally agree. Yeah, some people will definitely not get it, but I liked it. I thought it was a good It was a very original film, I suppose. Something new.
It was entertaining. It was.
Oh, yeah.
I found it to be fun. Yeah.
It was fun. I found it really fun and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's like the best of the year or anything from 2021. I will say though that it was very squeaky clean Hollywood. Though you've got to admit, it was very squeaky clean Hollywood.
Mm.
I can't put it a different way than that, but that's the kind of the look it had, was like everything's all squeaky clean Hollywood. Yes, no blood in our film, but everyone dies horribly. Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The viewer Drew is here, and he says, "Which MCU villain do you like more, Vulture or Killmonger?"
Probably Vulture, just because it's Michael Caine.
Killmonger was the Black Panther villain, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Vulture, because I don't like the Black Panther film, but
I'd say Vulture because like Michael Keaton was great as him.
Yeah, that scene in the car in Homecoming is just awesome.
One of the best scene in the film.
Brilliant.
Yep, and Vulture agrees. Tez agrees, should I say? Vulture. And the viewer Drew says Killmonger. He also says, which MCU villain do you think is overrated?
Ooh.
Ultron.
If we're basing it on the MCU iteration of Ultron, then definitely Ultron, because I was expecting him to be a true threat and he really wasn't. So I was a bit underwhelmed.
I'll tell you one I think that's very underused or not played to its potential is the Reptile. Is that MCU? You know, the one who's in Spider-Man?
Oh, what, Lizard?
Yeah.
Was he called the Reptile once in the comic, or am I just imagining that? Maybe in the film. Well, a Lizard then, yeah, I think it could be. In the comics, he was a brilliant character. Just didn't really seem to do much in the movie, personally.
Aldrich Killian for me didn't work at all. My man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that. Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, Aldrich Killian from Iron Man 3.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I haven't seen Iron Man 3.
Neither have I.
What about you, Mike?
I'm not too sure because I'm not like the biggest MCU fan. I've not really seen all of the films. I will say I've never really liked Mysterio from Spider-Man, and I felt like Far From Home, I don't know. I just don't really think he's a very interesting villain for me.
Yeah. Tez says Pandrin, the dude said he's right on the DC subject, Jack.
I like being right sometimes. It's nice.
Jill says we've got trolls. They get everywhere, but I've blocked them, so that's good. Tez says, talking about video nasties again, I remember getting my copy from under the desk in the video shop, paid $10 for it, and it was a copy with a photocopy slip.
Yeah, and also the thing is, really, you just were lucky to get to see the movie, and you would take it in any way, shape, or form. You know, because half the time you didn't really own these movies; you always rented. You never actually bought anything. It was very rare you actually physically bought the movie. You just rented it and given it back. So for a large amount of time, it didn't matter what it looked like because you weren't keeping it in the house, which is a bit weird thinking about us now. You collect every single, you wouldn't think of doing that. Like someone said to you, there's Kong versus Godzilla. I'll watch it and I'll just give you it back. And I won't think about having it at all ever. That's so alien to us now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. The Viva Drew says, which song from an MCU movie do you like more? All the Stars from Black Panther or Fire in the Sky from Shang-Chi?
I
have no idea what the songs are.
I'm going to say Fire in the Sky because it's got a better title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say that and all
I've
because
seen
I've
Black
heard
Panther, so I'd
Shang-Chi.
like to see Shang-Chi. Although I don't know what the song is.
Mm. Right, we've got Keith here, and he says, "Hey John, like I said to Jason today, I enjoyed it to a certain extent, but it also fell flat in a lot of places for me as well. But all in all, I had a good time. Not one of one's best. Malignant."
I wonder, Keith, if you watched it again, maybe in a couple of months' time, it might connect a bit more.
Mm. A lot of
I can
people
see
seem to
when-
have rewatched it and enjoyed it a lot more.
Well, I'm going to watch it again after knowing where it goes. So, and I know I'll enjoy it the second time more. I did feel at the start of it, I was thinking to myself, what's the direction? I did get a bit not lost, but I was thinking, right, the direction of this movie is going where? Question mark. But then it came around, and I thought, right, I'm with it now.
There's a lot. I find a lot of criticism from a lot of people that didn't like it. I'm not saying I'm not saying these are the points that Keith is saying. You know, I don't know where he says it falls flat. But a lot of people, I think there's some people that I've taken the film way too seriously. It's not a film to take seriously. You know, like I said in my my top 10 films of 2021, like, you know, don't go into it expecting a super serious horror film because that's not what you're getting.
Yeah.
There's certain YouTubers I've seen. I'm not going to name names. That's not fair. But they do reviews, and I just feel like they're taking the film way too seriously. And like some people criticize the acting, but I feel like the acting's good because it's taking a hokey script that's on purpose hokey and delivering it sincerely. That's what I love about the dialogue, the acting. I don't know. Maybe I just see it in a different. I've got a different perspective on it. Maybe I don't know. But you know, on a second watch, I liked it more on a second watch. So maybe that might be for Keith.
I think it might connect a bit more in the second watch, probably, because I know Keith does watch movies twice if he's a bit unsure about the first time round.
Jamie's here, and he says, "Hey chaps, good evening. How we all doing? What's the next film you're going to see at the cinema? I've got Licorice Pizza Friday and Scream next week." Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I want to see that Licorice Pizza.
I want to see that Licorice
Pizza because it's
Paul Thomas.
Yeah, it sounds really good, don't it?
Yeah, because it's Paul Thomas Anderson. I am absolutely intrigued by it. The audience not playing it at all. I think Michael know the Fact in Town. I know that's playing it. So I might have to go there to see it. But obviously, I've got COVID at the minute, so I'm waiting until I get a negative before I next go to the cinema.
So it's not on anywhere else.
No, it's literally the only place I found it is Fact. Like that is the only place that'll play it. I think. I couldn't find it anywhere else. But with it being Paul Anderson, you know, I love Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood. When he's on form, and I've heard such good things about Licorice Pizza. I'm just dying to see it. I think Scream is a given as well. You know, it's a franchise I quite like, and I'd love to go and see that as well.
Yeah. I'm not expecting much from Scream because no,
I'm not either.
Yeah, personally, I wasn't a fan of the fourth one. So I don't really know what this new one what's going to be different with it that they didn't already do in the fourth film.
I agree with that one. I think it's going to be like sort of like this. It's like a 4.1 instead of 5.
I'm probably going to be seeing Scream next. I'm on the same. I'll echo the same point as you made, Mike. I think that because I watched Scream when they did the 25th anniversary. I watched Scream in the cinema. Then I went and watched the sequels. 2 is a really good sequel. 3 is bad, and they retconned the whole motive from the first film, which I hated. And 4 had cool ideas, but I think the payoff was really weak. And I think what worries me is this is the first Scream movie without Wes Craven.
Yep.
So we don't know what that means, you know.
I see. Yeah.
The trailer sold me enough to go and see it. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, the trailer. The only problem with the trailer is I feel it's like it's doing what trailers do these days, and it's showing too much.
Yeah.
I don't
I
watch
find it
trailers
very
now.
hard.
I don't watch them.
I find it, although I know it's like the 5th movie, I do find it very hard to buy that this shit has happened to Sydney like 5 times. I find it very difficult to believe.
Yep.
For me, probably the next film I'll go see in the cinema, as I don't go often. First time in like about 15, 16 years just to see Spider-Man. It'll be the Batman. Cannot wait.
Oh, mate. I can't. If any of you saw that last trailer, holy fuck. Holy fugger nuggets. It looks good. Oh, man.
I was thinking the other day, about Mission Impossible. When's the new one out of that? Is it out this year, or is it not?
I think it's supposed to be out at Christmas time, isn't it?
All right, because I couldn't see anything about it. I know he's been shooting it, so I thought, I'm sure that'll be coming out this year because I'm quite up for that one. But the Batman for me will be the main one that I'm after.
Yeah, definitely. What's this? The View with Drew says, out of all the Marvel villains in the MCU, who do you think is the most generic, but not bad for me? Ironmonger, Abomination, Yellow Jacket, and whatever is that are kind of just evil versions of the heroes. Ironmonger is evil Iron Man, Abomination is meaner Hulk, and Yellow Jacket can shrink.
It's a good point, actually.
Yeah, I got what I'm saying there.
I think Christopher Eccleston's one in Thor: The Dark World, that was really bland and forgettable. Can't even remember what his character's name was called. Malik, was it? I'm not sure.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think I've actually remembered a MCU villain that I generally thought wasn't very good, but everyone seemed to love, which is Hela from Ragnarok. Didn't care for Hela at all. I don't know about you guys. But...
I can't remember her, actually.
There you go.
I can't remember.
I know what you mean.
I feel like Jeff Goldblum was the villain more in that film. I thought he was a better villain.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he was more memorable.
Yes.
Yep. We have Dark Side is Comics here. Hey guys, thanks for joining, mate.
All right, Dark Side.
Caliculus has a similar power to Stephen Strange. Cool. And DVD and Film Bloke says, I'm back from UHF. I actually really enjoyed it. That's cool.
What is that?
Pretty solid. It's the Weird Al Yankovic movie from the late 80s. It stands for Ultra High Frequency. It's a bit of a spoof comedy movie. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I think it's like a radio station or a TV station. Yeah,
Is it one? But this might be just me imagining this. Is it something to do with? Does he have like a TV show with kids in it as well?
I think so. From what I remember, I think it's like the villain in it's like the network.
Because I'm sure one of the kids spits on him, which was so funny. I might be thinking the wrong film, but I know that was something went on in that the kids show, and I think he got abused.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I know it's got the guy from Seinfeld in it, and it's got that Asian actor who was in BAM and 16 Candles. Yeah, he's in it as well, I think. Yeah. It's got a good cast. Like it's good fun. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, it was quite amusing.
Yeah.
Right. Ted says, gonna have to chip away soon, but my take from this, I'm gonna try Malignant.
I approve.
Awesome.
I approve.
I thought that'd get your seal of approval, Jason.
Yes, that's a full house.
It's definitely worth checking out at least once. Yeah.
Also, should say get better soon, Andy. Says DVD and film bloke.
Yeah.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cool.
Are
So
you?
when do
same.
you got it? So when do you think you're going to go for a negative test? Is it how many
I've-
days have you think?
I've had it a week now. I've
Mm.
pretty much. I've done a test nearly every day, and they've all been positive.
And you're pretty well. You're probably coming towards the end of it now, aren't you?
I hope so. Yeah.
And do you think it's knocked you for 6, or have you been okay with it?
I've been all right with it. My sense of smell has completely gone. I can't smell anything at all, really. It's completely gone, and I've had a bit of a persistent cough. That has been the worst of it. So I've had it actually quite light, which I'm quite grateful for. Because obviously there's a lot of people who haven't been able to cope with it as well. But yeah, I'm staying at home, trying not to spread it, and I'm just waiting to hopefully get a negative as soon as possible. So yeah, that's the point I'm in at the minute. Yeah.
Good.
Well, I hope you haven't got long left to sit about.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
We'll
Jason.
hope you get well soon, mate.
Definitely.
Thanks. Yeah.
We've got Matt V Movies here. Evening,
Hello,
all.
Matt.
Evening, Matt.
Right.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
DVD and Film Bloke says, I've only seen the first 3. I enjoy all 3 to some degree. The first one is still my favourite.
The first one's a
Take
good
that screen.
Yeah. Tez says, I feel like I've spent this evening with a few mates, even though I don't know you. Thanks.
Well, I feel the same way, but I do know you.
Yeah. The viewer Drew says, where does Killmonger rank in your favourite MCU villains? I'll probably say somewhere in the middle.
He's one of the better ones. Yeah.
Never seen it.
It's Michael B. Jordan, isn't it, from Black Panther?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty good in it.
Yeah.
But,
see, again, I actually think Andy Serkis is the better sub-villain in that film, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there.
Yeah.
I thought he stole every scene he was in. He was really good.
Yeah. But just like that bit where they come into the museum and they're dressed up as like the paramedics, I thought that was great.
Yeah, I agree. Keith says, in defense to Malignant, I was very sick watching it last night. I have a real bad dose on me at the moment, and that could have contributed to my enjoyment of the film. I'm sorry to hear that, Keith. Hope you feel better soon.
Yeah. Nothing worse.
Get well soon, Keith.
I think it's getting back to that whole point we made before. If you see a certain movie when you haven't got it, if you're in a certain mindset, you might not enjoy it as much, and you might have to be in the when you're ill. There's nothing worse than watching a movie when you're ill. But then again, what else are you going to do? So you watch a movie. So nothing worse when you've got someone on board.
I had that the other night. So I wasn't ill, but it was like I went into a movie expecting a certain thing and not getting that thing. So I watched Clive Barker's Nightbreed the other night, expecting an 80s, early 90s horror. It wasn't that at all. It was like a fantasy movie. It's very, very strange. I didn't like it at all. It wasn't for me.
Yeah.
When it came out, I was thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be like another Hellraiser, because Hellraiser was a shocker when it came out. There was nothing like it. And this one came on, I went, what is this? It just didn't connect with us at all. And when it was like going for stupid money, because it was out of print and everywhere, and it was in Twilight Summit, it released it. Twilight releasing or something, and everyone was going crazy and buying it for hundreds of pounds. I thought, you're getting an awful movie, and then it came out, and I've got the chance of watching it again. I just don't want to see it. I just thought it was just awful, and I don't think that about many films, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
I went in it not knowing really a lot about it, and I had a pretty fun time with it. I thought it was a fun sort of dark sort of fantasy film, but definitely quite a polar opposite from something like Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But I think that's exactly what I was thinking, what you're saying there, because with Jason and myself, I would imagine we went in expecting a completely different movie from what it was. And I think if you went in not knowing anything about it, you might have enjoyed it. But it just, unfortunately, it was coming on the back of Hellraiser for me. And I went, wow, this is not Hellraiser.
The issue I had is that nothing prepares you for what it's going to be. The front cover looks like a horror movie. The blurb on the back, when you read about it, it sounds like a horror film.
Yeah.
And it's not that at all. It's got some slashery things in it, right? It's got some like cool guy in a cool mask killing people in it. Great. But it was just too out there for me. It was very weird. Very strange.
Yeah. You've got the limited edition, haven't you, Andy? The Arrow one.
Yeah, but the one that comes in the box. Yeah. I just thought I might as well pick it up. It was a blind buy for me. But I'm still going to keep it. I might rewatch it again one day, but on first viewing, I didn't click with it as much as I wanted to. It was just one of those.
I remember watching it, thinking I really want to enjoy this, and it just didn't come. You know, sometimes you think maybe a movie will be rubbish, but the ending will be that good, and you have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But, well, actually, funny enough, I was watching your video, Peter, the other day, and you picked up Us. You know, and I'm not going to say anything about it, but it's a brilliant movie, and it's one that definitely deserves a second watch, and I think it's quite unique as well. But a lot of people don't like it, so I'm wondering. I'm interested to see if you get divided on it. You might not think it's that great, but I think it's the better of the two.
I haven't seen Get Out either, and I know a lot of people say that's really good as well.
It's good.
It's great film.
Yeah.
Right. Jamie's here, and he said, "Watch the Arrow Blu-ray release of The Last Matinee. It's a Spanish slasher horror in Argento, inspired with an 80s feel. It's a bit slow, but I like how it builds up to a good ending, but has a yuck eye scene." Was this the film you were on about last night, Jason?
Yeah, I actually bought it off the back of Jamie, because he said he basically says if you like *Malignant* and *Last Night in Soho* and you like that kind of giallo Argento vibe, I was like, I'm in. And then me and Sophie watched the trailer. The trailer had an awesome synthwave 80s soundtrack. And I was like, I'm in. I just bought it immediately. I was just everything kind of sold me on it. So I'm looking forward to it.
It sounds good to me. I probably will pick that up, but I don't know anything about it.
It's set in the cinema as well, which I always think is a really cool setting for a film.
Yeah. It ticks the boxes for me. It will be a one that I'll go for. I tend to get more of the Arrow things in sales now. I never get them really on first. There's a few I get like straight away, especially the really good special editions. But I'll always take the other ones in Amaro cases in a sale, no matter how long I've got to wait for it. Personally. Because you know they're going to go in the sale, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So
it's that if you're bothered about the booklet and the slipcover, that's the thing.
But a lot of them you can get now with everything to do with it. You know, like the slipcover, booklet, and you think, wow, I'm getting this as a steal, because some of them are £18 when they first come out, and you can get them for like under $9.99. You think, well, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. You know, and you just know when you look at it, like some of the ones that come out, you think, I've got to get that now because it'll never be out in a week's or month's time. But you kind of know the Arrow ones will be there. You've got a good chance of getting them way down the line.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
I feel like Arrow they expect that people are going to buy these releases, and in the end, not as many people buy them as they think. Because they release some films that, you know, for me are just not very good films, but because they release them in these limited edition box sets of all these nice contents, they know that people will just buy them because of that, regardless of what the film actually is.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that. So
I've been like that, but I do that more for 88 than I do for Arrow. And I think 88, usually if I get a good special edition, even on a movie I don't know from 88, I'll usually have a good time with that. If I do the same with Arrow, and 99% of the time, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it used to be every Arrow title was amazing. And these days, when they release the what they're going to put out on the Friday, when they say what's going to be the end of the month, you're lucky if one of them's one that you want to get, or one that's going to be like one of the things you think, oh, this is amazing. You just don't get that factor from them anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Shame.
Yeah.
DVD Even Film Bloke says the Rambo spoof in UHF had me in stitches.
Yeah. There's a Rambo spoof, and I think there's an Indiana Jones spoof as well at the beginning. Instead of like the idol, it's like a statue of the Oscar that he's after. Pretty good. Yeah.
Quite cool. Jamie says, "Get well soon, Andy. We'll have to have a video chat one day soon."
Oh, thanks, Jamie. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Tez says, "Stay safe, guys. Gotta go. Great stuff. We'll try and catch the next one later." Thanks ever so much for watching, Tez.
No problem, Tez.
Nice.
Bye.
Koroshi Ichi says, "Nightbreed is good fun, completely different to Hellraiser, which I love, but that's why it's so cool. Oh, and David Cronenberg is awesome in it." Yeah, I agree. He's fantastic.
He's the best part. He's the best part.
Definitely.
Yeah.
He's
It's
the only
mad seeing
redeeming feature for me.
Yeah.
I think
Mad
he's a
seeing
decent
him in a
actor,
role
actually.
like that.
Yeah.
Jamie also agreed. I love Nightbreed.
Don't be sorry, Jamie. It's
Yeah,
cool.
don't be sorry.
We all like what we like, and that's what makes us different.
that's
and
it.
it'd be boring
You're
if we
allowed-
all like the
yeah,
same thing.
I wish
You're
I
allowed to
did
like
like it.
it.
I mean, I wanted to like it. It's not as if I went and think that's going to be trash. I didn't think that because the special effects are amazing, but I just don't know. Didn't work.
Yeah, it was disappointing for me. It sounded like it was right up my street, going by the basic premise and like the artwork on the cover and everything. I was like, this sounds like it's going to be great, and it just didn't click.
Yeah. Jamie's also got the rare Cabal cut of the Blu-ray, over an hour longer than the theatrical cut, and it's half the story of the film. Yeah, I can remember Ryan was on about this special cut that's very hard to get hold of.
I watched the director's cut, and I thought that went on too long, so definitely
I've
won't
only
be
ever
watching
seen
that
whatever the
cable cut.
VHS one was. That's what I've seen. I don't think it was any special cuts. I know the Cabal cut was meant to be. I think I've actually read the book. I maybe think because I think the book was called Cabal, but I believe. But because I used to read a lot of Clive Barker's books, so I don't understand why I didn't know what the film. Anyway, it just didn't work, sadly enough. But maybe the other cuts. Sometimes the other cuts of movies are really good, and they do change it to a really decent movie. But I don't know if I'd go and track it out and pay good money on it because I've got a good chance of not liking it. But if you like it, that's great.
David says Mission Impossible 7 is coming out on September 30th.
Well, that's nice to know.
Yeah, and I think Mission Impossible 8 is coming out the year after because they're filming it back to back, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think the movies are getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it saying now? Oh, there we go. David also says, "Take care, Andy."
Thanks, David.
DVD Even Film Bloke says, "Pretty much none of my Arrow releases have booklets, and honestly, I don't care."
Yeah. I very rarely read them.
Yeah, there's not many things I do read in them nowadays.
No.
Yeah, I find their booklets quite hard to read. If I'm honest, I think just the way they're formatted, I don't know, they seem very wordy and just there's lots of writing, and I don't know, just find it a bit harder to read. But someone like 88 Films, I think their booklets are just worded a little bit better and they're a bit easier to read.
Yeah. I prefer 88 to Arrow at the moment, I've got to admit. Doing more interesting stuff.
I find as well my Arrow collection. I only have my whole entire Arrow collection. I only really go back to about 30 of it, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
If I There's titles in there I absolutely love. Like obviously you all know I love The Last American Virgin.
Yeah,
That's one of their best releases in my opinion. You know, Matinee, Heathers, Fish Called Wanda. I wouldn't say I watch those all the time, but a lot of stuff I just don't really go back to.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The thing is, though, with me, the Arrow stuff that I go for is stuff that they put out a long time ago. They put out some really solid stuff. It seemed like they went for every movie that you wanted to see back in the day, and it was put out in a pristine condition. So it was brilliant, title after title after title. Yeah. And they don't do that anymore, which is frustrating. And Arrow 88 seem to have picked that up. And I'm excited for 88 stuff coming out, whereas Arrows, I hardly ever look at what they're coming out, and I usually find off somebody else who says, "Oh, did you know that was coming out by Arrow?" And I say, "No, not really." I mean, they do this whole double thing now with the whole 4K, basically putting out that same set with a different cover in a 4K stuck in it. Well,
and now they start doing it with the same cover.
The same thing, aren't we?
Yeah, because RoboCop's similar.
It's the same set, exact same set. But
RoboCop, isn't it? And you just knew the fact that they were practically giving the special edition of RoboCop away. You know, when you went to a sale in HMV, they were like nearly down to like 10 quid. Yeah. I mean, they were lovely sets, but you just thought they've got to be putting a 4K out of it because there was a 4K on Sky Movies, so we knew it was there. So I've held off, but I don't know if I want to buy all that. I'm not going to pay a lot of money for it because I'm sure it'll come down to like literally nothing. But I think they've went a bit crazy with RoboCop because I was talking to a lad actually. Stephen from Lonely Tree Entertainment, and he works in HMV, and he says they put out RoboCop's already had that many releases that Arrow shouldn't have put out RoboCop because everyone's done it. So no, it didn't sell because everyone's bought it 100 times before. Why would they want to buy ours? They should have picked something that was like been out before.
It's because
Sorry, I'm a bit worried about Arrow anyway because some of the later box sets have come out. They haven't come with those nice, hard, rigid boxes. They've come in just flimsy cardboard. There's a set I want. It's called Giallo Essentials, and I want it. Yeah. But I don't want to pay the price they want, which is like 50 quid, I think. And it's in this just flimsy, cheap, shitty cardboard box. You know how we used to get those nice hard boxes. See, that Giallo set doesn't have that nice hard box. It has a shitty plastic, wood one. Not wood one, cardboard. You know what I mean? Cardboard. I'm getting annoyed at myself. Do you know what I mean, though, right? I feel like they might be dropping the quality of their releases in terms of
cheapening out, but still charging the same price.
Yeah,
well, they don't want to do that.
I'm not. And I just won't buy it. As simple as that, really. I've come to know Arrow as like, I feel like they probably put out the best box sets in terms of like the whole movie game. They probably the best out there in terms of box sets. The Diamond Margin set's fantastic. It's beautiful in terms of its design and stuff. But if they're going to cheapen out on and go to this cheap flimsy cardboard sets, then I think they might lose a lot of customers because I think they're known for their really high quality box set packaging and stuff.
No, I agree. And especially if you're paying the same amount. Say if you paid £50 for a nice hard box edition of something, and then you went to get that thing, it was 50 quid for something that was like cheap and flimsy, you just wouldn't buy it. Or you wouldn't want to pay 50 quid for it, you want to spend 30 quid on it. So they're gonna have to watch the step doing that because look at their 88s, they're going about them again. All their stuff they're putting out is like that rigid slipcase now, the special editions, and look at Ricky O, and that's beautiful. And the Erotic Ghost Story was amazing. And that other one, what's the other one that they put out? Robotrix. That's
they put out those I Know We Did Last Summer trilogy sets. Yeah, they were really nice.
Very
nice. They've got the Anaconda set coming out at the end of the month, which I've got on pre-order.
Yeah.
Which I hope is going to be of the same quality. It should be, right? It should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be. Yeah. But that title I picked up, which I won't tell you what it is because I don't want to spoil it. But this video, I'm hoping to do this video tomorrow and put it out. It's a rigid case for 15 quid. And I tell you what, it's one of it blows a lot of other ones out of the. It's not from 88. It's not from Arrow. It's from a different company, and it blows them all out of the water. Because when I picked them up, I had an 88 in my hand that I picked up, and I also had this one that I picked up, and I said this one wins hand, and it's 15 quid. The one I had from 88 was about 20, 24, 25, and the 15 quid one was better. So it just shows you, maybe even 88 to 25, they put a bit of a markup on the sets. But anyway, I'm excited to see what people say about this thing. And I would, if you like it, get yourself a HMV and buy one.
Are you going to tell us when we come off this stream? Because I'm interested.
Well, I can, as long as you don't tell anyone before it goes out.
No, well, why would I do that for? That's a bit mean.
No, I know you wouldn't do that. I haven't got it. It's upstairs, but I'm going to get it. It's beautiful. It really is. I know I'm saying it, but when I picked it up and I turned it around, you know, they put the prices on the back for whatever reason. I went, no, is this a misprint? But I looked at the other three that I had as the same price. So I just went up in the thing and bought it. Excellent.
Well, I know where I'm going tomorrow. If it's a film I want, it might not be a film I want. But...
Well, I'd never heard of it before.
Okay.
That's all. And it's from 1972, which doesn't bother me. And
doesn't bother me.
It could be. I think it's going to be strange anyway, which I don't mind. And it's British. And I don't imagine from any you would ever heard anyone talk about it. So I've never even knew it existed. But it was there. I said on the video when I opened it, I said the packaging got me. I don't care what the movie was. I just had to have this package. That was what my mindset was. I picked it up. I didn't even look at what it said on the back. I just went out and it weighed a ton, and I went, right, this is mine. So we'll like that, aren't we? That's what we do.
Yeah. Collector's problems, eh?
It is, all right.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's fun to buy something for a good price that's higher quality and actually being surprised and getting something actually good. That's a film.
Well, I've checked the picture quality on. The picture quality in the Blu-ray is nice. So for the time it came out. Yeah. It's I can't really say too much about it because I mean people might have worked it out by now if they're looking on this. But if it comes up on the stream, obviously it'll be out and about. But I'm not saying I've never seen anybody talk about it. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
We've got Gary North here. Good evening. Good evening, Gary.
Gary.
Thanks for joining. DVD and Film Bloke says, yeah, Arrow know people will buy anything they pump out. Wow, RoboCop is out on Arrow. I've already got 20 copies of it, but this one has a booklet, so buy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
That's the truth.
He also says, yeah, as soon as RoboCop came out on Arrow, it got a massive Y from me. I mean, the 2014 Blu-ray with the 4K remaster was perfectly fine.
Yeah. And if you own that version, the uptick on the 4K will be like slight. That's why I never went to get the Blu-ray from them, because I thought if I do want to buy the 4K, at least I've got a bit of an uptick from something than just buying the same. I mean, it looks like it's exactly the same box set with a 4K in it.
Yeah.
I did buy the limited edition Arrow RoboCop when it was on sale for 15. I think it was like $15.99.
Yeah.
But I didn't own RoboCop for some weird reason. I don't understand why I didn't. So it made sense for me to get it at that point.
I mean, it's. I'm not slating the release itself. I think it's a solid release, but I just think that you just knew that it was put out at the wrong time, and also the fact is that you just knew there's a 4K coming more on that one than any other ones.
Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke also says his Arrow collection stands at 14. Cool.
I wonder how many Arrow titles have been released over the years. I bet there's a canny few.
I can imagine there is.
Yeah.
There's a couple of hundred, isn't there? Something like that.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Let's be thankful they haven't numbered them, because you can imagine certain collectors will be bloody better getting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Gary says Arrow are putting out the same stuff over and over again.
They are at the minute.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
know
agree.
that yellow box set you were talking about there, Jason? I'm sure all them
Yeah.
movies have been put out before.
Probably
on
have,
CD,
yeah.
And they've just put
Yeah.
them in a box set, and probably you can get them all in the sale for half the price and just without that cardboard box.
Yeah.
I think.
Mhm.
Yep. DVD Film Bloke says 10 videos, 2 academies, and 2 films before 2009. Yeah, I started to notice it with the release of Carrie and The Thing. Yeah. He also has the standard Blu-ray of The Thing because I know it had a better transfer than the original. Just got it on sale. He also says, Arrow, bring out Peter Jackson's Trash Trilogy. I actually have the very old Arrow DVD of Meet the Feebles.
Trash trilogy. That's that's bad taste, Brain Dead, and Meet the Feebles, right?
Feebles, yeah.
Tell you what, Brain Dead is dying, is gagging for a really good Blu-ray release over here.
Yeah.
Apparently,
he's working on a 4K for all of them 3 films, believe it or not. But I think he's been busy with that Beatles thing for about 6 years or something. So
Get back.
I'm sure he's going to go and start them now, or he's going to go back to them. Because he has promised he's going to do them. So I don't know what a 4K of Meet the Feebles would be like, by the way. Wow.
That World War One documentary he did was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
They Shall Not Grow Old, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a talented fella. No
I need
doubt.
to see that, to be fair.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I wish the Arrow would release all, I probably don't own the rights anymore, all the old Russ Meyer films, because I had them in a big box set and DVDs. They were great. So I'd love to see them put them out, because even the ones before they went, the early 60s ones in black and white are brilliant. Motorcycle and Faster Pussycat, Kill.
They're
brilliant.
awesome.
But I love Faster Pussycat, Kill. It's one of my favourite films of all time.
Yeah.
It's just utterly amazing. It looks spectacular on DVD. But if they can get that out on the Blu-ray, it would just be amazing to get. Because I mean, they went a bit weird. When they went into like colour with like Super Vixens and Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens and all that. It was funny, because remember when they done like Up, and it was like all to do with that Hitler was in it, and it was to do with the fact that this Hitler person and all this thing was going on. But I remember watching them, and I think when Beneath the Valley of the Ultra Vixens came on, and then you realise when you watched the film what the title actually meant, and you thought, oh, of course it means that, but I never saw that one. But if you think about it, you can work it out. And that shows you what a sick individual he was. Yeah.
Right. Gary says Mondo Macabro is one of my favourite boutique labels. They release obscure films most I've never seen before.
Yeah, great label. Very expensive.
He also picked up Virgin Witch on Screenbound, and the packaging is amazing. James has just finished, guys. I gather he's just finished work, so that's great. And he says, great lineup tonight. Thanks, James. Hopefully we can get you back on a live stream soon, because that was great when you come back the other week.
He's a good lad, James.
And he's finally started Cobra Kai. Ooh. Everybody seemed to be watching it. DVD Phone Bloke says, I got the RoboCop trilogy Blu-ray set for like a tenner. I think the only people who will buy RoboCop from Arrow are those who have already have it, or who only buy it because it's Arrow.
Yeah, I've got that trilogy on RoboCop. It's right.
I don't mind the sequels. The first movie's a masterpiece, but the sequels they're okay. The best part about RoboCop is with Meyer. and that is the funniest bit of that movie. And 3 is like, it is what it is. 3,
Yeah.
It's not the same without Peter Weller, but
Yeah,
it's
I know.
it's a bad movie, but it's still entertaining. If that makes sense.
I think it's all right. I'll tell you, them the sort of ninja robots that they've got, or the kung fu robots they've got in their part 3. Do you know when one of them gets hit around the face with that iron bar?
Yeah.
It busts his jaw, and his jaw's over there, and he gets his jaw, and he's doing that with it, and he puts it up. That looks really real. Actually, I know you can tell it's like, but it's one of the best effects I've ever seen. And when you first see it, you think, wow, it's totally amazing. Yeah. Always remember that.
It used to freak me out as well with the scene with the splatterpunks at the beginning, because they have like one of the best movie introductions ever.
Yeah.
When they just the way that build up with that gang is scary. It's really good. It's really well done. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It would have been much better with Peter Weller in it, though.
Yeah, definitely. Gary North says the Giallo Essential Volume 2 contains better movies than the first set, but it's a US only release. Ooh.
Okay.
The Viewer Drew says some of my biggest hot takes are I love Die Hard 1, but Die Hard 3 is my favourite, and the Maze Runner as Will Poulter movie is much better. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
DVD and Film Bloke says Peter Jackson did announce he was doing a 4K remaster of Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and Brain Dead and Heavenly Creatures back in 2018. It's now 2022 and he's gone quiet on it.
I know. I just think the Beatles took over his life. But I think once he's done it, then he'll move on to other things, because he's not done anything since he started the Beatles thing. No. And he needs to get making films again.
Definitely.
He seems to have taken a bit of a backseat with directing now. I feel like after he did Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films, it's almost as if it's kind of like just totally wiped him out, and he's just doesn't seem to be making that many films anymore.
Well, actually, when you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, wiped out. It seems as if he's beaten. He's done. The Hobbit must have been the right nightmare to do, and he's probably just thought, right, it's not worth the hassle, because can he make a normal film now, or does he have to make something that's like a humongous epic? Is he kind of is he maybe just he's spent? I do agree with you, Mike, on that one. I can't see him. I would love to see him making a movie, especially going back to a good horror movie. I think we'd do a great one, like The Frighteners. But is he ever going to bother? He might not.
Yeah.
I love The Frighteners. I've got a huge spot for that film.
Oh yeah,
I love it. That's one of those films that I didn't really like the first time I saw it, but over the years, it's just grown on me.
Yeah. It gets better every time you watch it.
It's a lot cleverer than it deserves to be, that film. Weirdly, if that makes sense. Yeah,
you see a lot of stuff. Every time you watch it, you think, oh, that's a bit more clever than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And it's the point where you think, that's I mean, it is. I think it's ahead of its time.
Yeah, it's a great plot. It's. I think it's one of those movies that's difficult to talk about without spoiling it, because every plot point connects to something else in that film.
Yeah,
and it's it's just a domino effect. But it's great. Jeffrey Combs is great in it as well.
Yes.
The villain. Yeah.
Yes. I can't
with the
wait
little
for
hemorrhoid.
Yeah. They keep talking about doing it and never do it.
Yeah.
David says, Jason, what is your favourite Pixar movie, and what is your favourite Disney movie?
Do you think David means Pixar?
Yeah.
Pixar, probably. Yeah.
I haven't seen all the Pixar films, but off the top of my head, I'm going to be quite boring and generic. I'm going to say Toy Story 3. Just off the top of my head. It's a bit boring, but there you go. My favourite Disney movie changes all the time. It's probably between The Black Cauldron or The Lion King, to be honest. Yeah. They always flip-flop. So
Yeah, really good picks.
with that, I'm gonna head off. So thanks for having me on. It's been great to talk to you guys as always.
Thanks for coming on, Jason.
Jason, good to talk to you.
Probably see you later when your stream's done.
Mm.
Because I think Soph's getting fed up with me being on the stream.
So you'll come back on a bit later with 2 black eyes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Or no eyes. No eyes. Right. Yeah. I'll see you soon, guys. Yeah. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah. See you, Jason.
Yeah, Jason.
Bye.
See ya.
Right. DVD from Film Bloke says, I just hope to God he doesn't do a George Lucas on him, Peter Jackson. I don't think
Yeah.
he will. I think he'll do a good job.
I can't imagine he'd do that. Yeah.
No.
DVD from Film Bloke says, Robocop. Robocop. I just said. RoboCop 2 is fine and 3 is complete cack. I nearly said another word then. Jill says, I sent James Dudley Cobra Kai. Yeah, I did see his subscriber mail of that. That's nice of you to do that, Jules. I think making RoboCop PG-13 ruined it.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, it's got nowhere near the level of violence of the first one. Very sort of kid-friendly version.
The first one was just brilliant.
Yeah, but then I kind of think that the second one almost takes the violence too far at times. It's kind of got a weird.
They're trying to top one, but they didn't really succeed. Kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of one kind of has the right balance, but then 2 takes it too far, and then 3 there's not enough of it.
Yeah, I agree with that one. They got the recipe right for number 1, and the other 2 were just not right.
Yeah,
for that reason.
Just
that's the problem with the remake as well. It didn't have any of the sort of part, like the sort of the humor that the first one had. I mean, it's already a movie, but it's not a RoboCop movie. You don't have that sort of like black humor in it, which I think that's why that let that down.
Yeah, I've not seen the remake.
It's all right, but if you're wanting it's a competent movie, but I think if you're thinking you want something that's got the RoboCop edge to it, you haven't got it. It's like RoboCop without any dark humor, which you really want to see. But it's all right. It's not awful, but it's got something missing.
Yeah.
That first film has got the satire of social commentary as well.
Yeah.
Going on, like very cuts to like the random TV advert you get throughout the film as well.
Yeah.
You know, even the second one they've done a little bit, but it's such a masterpiece, that first movie, with everything. I love it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Great film. David says, have you watched The Long Good Friday with Bob Hoskins?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long
One of the best British films. Love it.
Yeah. It's a great film.
Yeah.
Bob Hoskins played a great part. He actually thought he was that person in that film. He just had that air about him where he was like as if he was that person, which is a rarity sometimes in movies. You totally bought him. Great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a young Pierce Brosnan in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Got no
yes, actually.
Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, I don't think the first RoboCop will be re-rated 15 anytime soon, unlike its contemporaries. No, I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
It deserves the 18 rating, that film.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yes.
Totally.
Yes, totally.
He also says, I think The Frighteners has gone out of print. I got it on Blu-ray back in 2017. Brilliant film. I will start the Trash trilogy on Friday. Ooh.
I haven't seen. I think I've only got. Greenhead. I haven't got any of the other ones, unfortunately. I've got the Frighteners one on DVD.
Mm.
But I really want. I'm sure there's a 4K coming out of it. I just want to.
Yeah, I think Arrow.
I'm waiting. I'm holding off. Yeah, Arrow. I'm holding off because
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it on DVD. Then the 4K can come out next week.
Yeah, I got a like an Arrow. I can't remember what Arrow title it was like last year, but inside was a postcard for the Frighteners.
Right.
But that was well over a year ago, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know what's happened with that.
No, it's just fell flat in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Frighteners on the VHS range from HMV.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I picked it up on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cracking little film. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's very underrated. Very like kind of went right under the radar as well.
Yeah.
Was it a hit when it came out? I got the feeling that it just
Everything
didn't.
was.
Just like it just bombed and just didn't connect with anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember it being on TV, and then I think I was in a supermarket like the next day, and the VHS was in the supermarket, and I picked it up and I watched it and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Gary North says, "What gang of criminals do you like the most? Clarence Boddickers from RoboCop or Han Gruber's from Die Hard?"
I mean, Clarence is just—he's such a brilliant villain because you hate him so much.
Mm.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best villains I've seen in a film.
Yeah. It's the way as well, like the way like one of his gang members that he can absolutely just murder police officers, and then like one of them will go out clubbing like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
They're just normal things, but when it comes to like you need to kill a police officer, they'll fucking annihilate them. Like they'll wipe them off the face of the earth like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's such a great film because you've got a likable hero, and you've got unlikable villains, and that's what makes a great action film.
The contrast so well, like the good, really good. Like I think it was Paul Verhoeven wanted them to sort of have like this Jesus type figure in RoboCop. Like even at the end, there's like imagery of him walking on water. Like he's pure and good, and Clarence is just this nasty, horrible piece of shit.
I love his death scene at the end. Just the way it's satisfying.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the deaths are fucking horrible. Like the toxic waste one is just nasty. That's horrible. It's just nasty, but it's just such a good film. The only issue I have with it is the disappearing guard when he takes his helmet off. That's the only issue I have with that film.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they could have shot that a little bit better, it would. It's flawless.
Yeah.
That's the only issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah.
Jill says more trolls, but we've sorted them. Gary North, possibly Gruber, but Bodka is more sadistic. Totally agree.
Bodka is best, but I do think Gruber's gang is good as well.
Yeah.
I think they're a great sort of gang of villains on a few levels, but Bodka's got more of the kind of the group of the kind of street punks that I like from that 80s era, and I think they were a great gang to get together. The proper gang they should have in that movie. It should have been sort of these people from the gutter, which I like.
Yeah. It's more like Boddiger's gang are a lot more unpredictable and a lot more unhinged. Like you don't know what they're gonna do. But with Gruber's gang, they are really good villains. They are, but they've got a plan in place and they don't want to deviate from that plan. Gruber's villains, you don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. These guys are just
Make a bunch of loose cannons.
Yeah, it's like Hans Gruber and his gang. They're almost like not really that mean. They're kind of, because like Alan Rickman, like Hans Gruber, he's kind of polite, isn't he? And very
Yeah.
well dressed.
They're a
Well dressed.
lot more professional as villains. They've got a plan
Yeah.
and they want to execute it. And they,
I like efficient, aren't they?
Yeah.
Efficient and professional.
Yeah, they're efficient.
Whereas Boddicker could have been more unprofessional if they tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you think, what are these guys going to do if they argue amongst themselves? They're going to fucking kill each other.
Yeah.
And it's humor, but yeah, they're just a lot more unsettling as villains. That gang.
Yeah.
You're right.
I agree. Jill says, never going to let that one down. Edward says, do you think HMV will do slipcovers for the new Ghostbusters Afterlife and Last Night in Soho? Hopefully they do. Yeah. But I think they're both being released by Sony, aren't they? So hopefully they should do, because like Venom did get a slipcover.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I know.
DVD and Film Bloke says, the copy of The Frighteners I have is the standard Universal catalogue title. Yeah,
that's the one I've got, I think.
Yeah. Edward says, what's your thoughts on the news about the Abyss 4K transfer that was personally done by James Cameron, teasing up-and-coming Blu-ray release? About time.
Yeah, I mean, if it's happening, then I am excited, but at the same time, I feel like I get the impression that James Cameron is not that into, like proper 4K transfers, where you've got the film grain and all that kind of stuff. I feel like because the Terminator 2 4K, I've not seen it, but I've heard that it's one of the worst because
it's waxy. It's waxy because he's DNR'd it. Yeah,
but
for that reason.
Yeah, but I get the impression that Cameron favors that kind of look, and he likes his films to look as glossy as possible.
That could be a problem then.
Yeah, so that's the only issue I have with The Abyss on 4K, but I would still love to see it on at the very least Blu-ray.
I would have to wait. I wouldn't pre-order that one. I'd have to wait to see what the views are on it. It'd be one of them ones where it could be doing. You could do another Terminator 2. Now I always thought he got a bit of backlash for that, and I'm sure they were going to go and redo Terminator 2, but then it just didn't happen.
No.
Because everybody knows when you get a DNR, especially in a 4K, and you watch it, it just looks awful. It's just, you can see there's just no definition to the picture, which I've got some Blu-ray 4Ks that are quite grainy, but I don't mind that because, you've got the grain, but you've also got the definition as well. So it swings and roundabouts. So if the film showed grain when it was made, then you've got grain in it. It's just as simple as that. It's a worrying thing because you can't. Some people, when they put out stuff, you can trust them to make a good job of it. Like with the Carpenter stuff, 99% of the time you think they're going to do a good 4K of this, and you're right. And some of the 4Ks are stunning. Yet with Cameron, I'm always, even like the likes of what's it called, Titanic. I would think, that should look brilliant. But I've got a horrible feeling it's not good. I think it's going to have that smooth look in it. It's going to look a bit like a sort of TV movie to it. I don't know. Which I would love to see them come out. But then again, if he's going to put a 4K out, transfer out an upcoming Blu-ray release, what does that mean? He's going to do that. Then next year he's going to put a 4K out. Are you better off waiting for the 4K? And you'll get the Blu-ray with it. But then again, it's a bit of a cash in, I thought you would do the 4K and the Blu-ray together.
Yeah.
And you've got the option. But I'm with you and Mike on that one. I'm a bit worried that he's going to be a bit... I think if he starts doing that with his movies, people are just going to tune out.
Yeah, but hopefully he got the message with the backlash for Terminator 2. Yeah.
And I was thought with that backlash, that's why he stopped doing... It's as if he spat his dummy out, it felt like, and he thought, I don't want to do any more.
Yeah.
Maybe that was wrong with that, but we'll see. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Jill says Mike's dog is gorgeous.
Yeah. Don't know where she's gone.
Gary says watch Carlito's Way on 4K last night. Great transfer, and I forgot how good Sean Penn's performance was in the movie. He stole the show over Al Pacino.
He's another
Sean
character
Penn.
who's just,
Yeah,
you know, he's such a horrible character, but such a great performance.
he's a great actor. Sean Penn. Very underrated.
I agree.
That's actually a movie I actually prefer over Scarface. Carlito's Way.
Yeah,
I love that film.
Scarface is amazing.
Yeah, but it like, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Scarface at all whatsoever. But Carlito's Way for me is just easy to watch. I just have a bit more of a better time with Carlito's Way. There's another film with Brian De Palma film with Sean Penn, which is so difficult to watch, which is Casualties of War.
Yeah,
Fucking great in that film.
I love that film as well.
It's a great film, but my word is absolutely difficult.
It's one of those films that you kind of you're thinking about it like long after you've watched it. And for me, when a film has that effect on you, for me that makes it a good film because you know it's got you thinking and it's affected you in some way.
I tried to introduce my dad to that film, but he couldn't finish it. He just couldn't watch it. He just said, "Andy, I can't."
That because I thought it'd be a good sort of Vietnam War film, and it is. But I didn't think it would have that sort of storyline in it, and I was like, "Wow, that's a bit heavy." It was great. I mean, I thought that was one of the first times when I thought that what's his name? I'm blanking on the name now. Not Sean Penn. Michael J. Fox. How could I forget about Michael J. Fox? This shows you should never get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He was sensational in that movie, and I thought to myself, he's a much better actor than I thought he was. I didn't give him as much respect as I should have done. He was amazing. I mean, all were, but wow, what a film! It's one of the films that I really appreciate and think was amazing. I'm glad I've seen it, but I don't really want to own it because I don't think it's got that rewatchability for that reason.
I used to watch it quite a bit when I was younger, and I look back and I think, why did you watch that film so much? Like, you know, the subject matter is so cool. Because I did actually quite enjoy watching it, as weird as that sounds. I just enjoyed the film for what it was, but the subject matter it's too near the knuckle. I'm like, oh, it's too difficult.
I feel like it's a film that you maybe, when you're younger, you don't quite fully comprehend it, but when you watch it like as an adult, you can kind of understand it more, and it makes it a bit more difficult to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Sometimes movies when you're young and you're a bit like foolish, you don't really pay too much attention to the human side of stuff. You're more out for just gore and violence and whatever. And then when you see a human thing when you're older, that's when it connects with you because you've lived your life. Wow, that's insane. That's a storyline. I'm surprised with a big budget film as well that they went down that route as well. They might have been tempted to not because it's not as if they go down a certain route, but they really go down that route. They don't like shy away from where this film's going, which is quite stunning for a film for that age.
It is. It's very much in the sort of same bracket as Schindler's List. It's a great film, but my word, it doesn't have any rewatch value because it's just so horrific and unsettling and upsetting.
DVD from Film Bloke says, Michael J. Fox is a pretty good actor. It's just a pity he has Parkinson's. Bless him.
But I tell you what, he gets through that really well. He's got a really good mindset on it. And but I think it's horrible that anybody would get it, but somebody of his what he was all about and all that, and he's had that taken away from him. A bit like one of the worst ones was and I'm going to blank on his name. I'll have to get back on that one. Right, he was in. It's not Eddie Murphy, but Richard Pryor. My God, where's my brain gone? Right, so Richard Pryor, who was probably the funniest man who ever lived, and he just had this, just everything he said was great. And then when he got to the point where he had that debilitating, I think it was MS, and he couldn't speak, when you just think of all the things that happened to him, to not be able to speak was just horrible.
Yeah.
Gary North says, Tears of the Sun is an underrated war film with Bruce Willis.
I think I've seen that one. It was all right, actually.
That one.
I think it was quite serious as well.
Oh, wow.
Whatever happened to Bruce Willis? Like, he used to.
Yeah. He used to be a name of quality.
Yeah.
You just ones where you just go to the DVD shop, not DVD shop, you go to DVD Nasdaq, and it's just got a line of his movies there. That knows when you've hit rock bottom.
Yeah. One of my absolute favorite Bruce Willis movies, where he's not phoning it in at all. He actually gives a fuck, and he's a really decent, funny performance. As Death Becomes Her. I just love that film.
I've seen that before.
He's so funny in that film.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Yeah, what a film that is.
Yeah,
I love that film.
Yeah, love it. Great Robert Zemeckis film, really underrated and fantastic. Bruce Willis is nice to see him give a fuck. That isn't Die Hard, if you know what I mean. Like it's not a decent movie that's not Die Hard.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. No, great, brilliant film.
Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, yes, he got MS. Rip Richard Pryor. He was a really an underrated film of his would be Blue Collar.
Yeah, that's a great film.
I've seen that, yeah. I think he was great in Superman 3. A lot of people don't like Superman 3. I think it was a really good film. And he's so funny in it.
I like Superman 3. Well, I mean, I don't think it's, amazing, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is.
No, I don't think it is. And I'll tell you what, there's some quite good effects in that. I really like Evil Superman as well. He goes a little bit bad. And he's being like sort of like he doesn't care less what he does. He's like being really sort of like horrible to people and flicking things, and it's just great. Yeah. But it does get a lot of hate, that movie, which I don't understand. I've watched that movie probably more times than I've watched Superman, actually, believe it or not. Although I do like Superman.
It's nowhere near as bad as 4.
Oh, 4. It's trash.
Yeah.
Even the effects are awful as well.
It's bad 4, but I still get enjoyment from 4 because it's that awful. Like I'm still entertained by 4. Like Nuclear Man and all that. Yeah, it's awful, but it's so entertaining.
Yeah.
3, I think, is a mixed bag. 3 is a mixed bag. It's got some really good stuff going in it. If I'm honest, I think Richard Pryor is a bit crap for the movie. He from a script perspective, I just don't think he's given much to do. Like he doesn't go full Richard Pryor in the movie, which is a shame because I really would have loved to have seen that. The fight scene between Clark Kent and Superman in the junkyard, I think, is gold.
Oh, that's brilliant. I really like that.
Yeah. But one film I really do like with Richard Pryor is See No Evil, Hear No Evil. I love that film. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, with Gene Wilder, isn't it? Yeah, great film.
Young Kevin Spacey in it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great film. That absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Him and Gene Wilder were just great together.
No, they
like
were
just
crazy.
I agree.
Yeah, had great chemistry. Gene Wilder was so funny as well.
Yeah.
Edward says, what movies are you looking forward to seeing at the cinema that are coming out soon?
Probably
I would say Batman. I was going to say Morbius, but it's been delayed now for 3 months.
Has it really? Oh.
Yeah, it's been delayed again. Yeah.
Like
my son went to the pictures the other day to see Spider-Man for the third time at the cinema, and he's going to go another time as well, say 4 times at the cinema, which is a bit unheard of for him. But he said there was a trailer on for Morbius, and he said it looked quite interesting actually. He told us a few things that was in it where he thought it was going to go, and I said, "Oh, that sounds all right."
Yeah, it's like literally it's come out the blue, hasn't it? That's been delayed. But yeah,
Yeah.
as you said, good cast in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll be worth the wait.
Hope so.
Keith says, "Thanks so much for the entertainment tonight, lads. I always look forward to your streams, Pete, and you haven't let me down. Good night to all. Thanks for watching, Keith.
See,
Hope
Keith.
you're feeling better soon."
Yeah, take care, Keith.
Yep. Right. DVD and Film Bloke says, "I wasn't keen on Richard Pryor in Superman 3, largely because he was following the script and didn't come up with his new material. But overall, I like Superman 3. But Superman 4 is complete crap, although there's some bad parts that are quite funny."
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I remember
And
watching that with my son. The Superman things. We watched Superman. I don't know how old he was, maybe 8. And I watched Superman 2, which wouldn't have been the Donna cut of that part. It would have been the original Superman 2, which I think is pretty good. And Superman 3. And then he was into it. And I put Superman 4 on. And he was of an age when he was just like a kid. And he was more or less turning around to me and saying, "What's this?" He was even when he was a kid, he could see what's happened. What's going wrong? And I was going, "Well, it's rubbish. That's why." I don't think you really realise that you can make bad films. So yeah, you got a bit of a shock there.
Some of the imagery in it is just hysterical, like the giant nuclear bombs. Spinning it around and around. The way they fly into space.
For a film like Superman that had some groundbreaking effects, and then Superman 4 had some of the worst effects I've ever seen in my life. I can't really understand how they could go that bad without knowing that they've done something poor. It was a passion project for Christopher Reeve to do. It was his thing. He made a mess of it, unfortunately for him.
And it was Canon Films that made it, and I think they were like literally going bankrupt when they made that film, weren't they? So
yeah, I think they were. I can remember the story behind it. Yeah.
A
lot of problems.
Gary says Batman. Yeah, that's going to be the next $1 billion hitting film in the cinema. You can tell.
The only thing with
Batman or Spider-Man with the what would top? I think it'd be hard to top Spider-Man money-wise, but I think Batman might be good on the hot on the heels.
Yeah.
The only thing I wonder about Batman is like, what are they going to do with this Batman film that they haven't done before? Because I feel like almost a bit fatigued with seeing Batman on like Batman movies, because we've had like like Michael Keaton and Christian Bale and Ben Affleck, and I just wonder what they'll do differently this time. I'm still looking forward to it, but it's just going to be interesting to see what they do.
I do think that the Batman, when they do make Batman franchises, they don't seem to end up going anywhere, unfortunately. They seem to start off with a massive movie and a massive, you think, oh, this is going to be a thing. And then they just don't seem to end right or know where they're going to go, really.
Yeah, because this one's going to end up having multiple spin-off TV shows and a couple of sequels or something.
I've heard it's definitely a trilogy.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be doing like a TV series about the Penguin and probably a TV series about the Riddler or something. It seems like it's going to be a big sort of project for DC anyway.
Well, if they do it right, they just don't want to make less of it.
Yep. Gary says, "I highly recommend seeing Titane at the cinema if you get a chance." It is certainly a film. Yeah, seeing it in the cinema. Yeah, I would recommend it. Some questionable scenes in it. I can't say nothing because it'll spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. It's a very good film. If I watched it last year, it probably would have been in the film of the year, definitely.
No.
Have you guys seen it?
No, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I would see it.
Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, I believe Canon Films split there already somehow. Small budget between that and Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Because Master of the Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. We have Ryan here, and he says, "What's up, guys? Just watched Gamera versus Gaios, and in my opinion, I thought it was a pile of shit, and the fights were a bit disappointing." That's a shame, because you did enjoy the other two that you watched.
I love the Gamera films. Me and my wife have watched them all. I can't remember which one was Gaius, but I remember liking them all. I thought they were quite good.
You picked up the box sets, didn't you, Andy, as well?
I'm not sure. Gaius was the one that was like, it was like a bit of a squid that grows in size.
Oh yeah.
I could be wrong. Yeah, I watched that whole show era in one day, and it was all a blur, but I just had a really fun time.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they all kind of mold into one a little bit, don't they?
Yeah.
The only thing I really remember from them is when the two kids get into that yellow submarine.
Yeah.
Just the adults say to them, just go in there and you can just drive it wherever you want.
Yeah.
And they go, all right, no bother.
Yeah.
Of course, they go in the water and they get in with Gamera and all that. Remember me and my wife being stitches with it. It's so funny, so well entertaining, as you say.
Yeah.
That's good. David says, "What is your best collection you own on Blu-ray and DVD?"
I think mine would probably be the Phantasm box set from Arrow with the it's got like the sphere in it.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, what have I got?
What's in you get that one? Whatever. See you.
I'd probably say like one of the Arrow box sets I've got. That's all I can really say.
I'll tell you what's a collection, but it's the Halloween 4Ks, the 5 of them.
They're really nice.
Absolutely amazing. I can't fault them.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, just probably me James Bond set on Blu-ray, but on DVD, I've got a lot of sort of kid shows that I grew up with watching that you can't really get anymore. The real Ghostbusters is absolute favorite of mine, and I've got the box set of the '90s Spider-Man, which I absolutely like. That goes for silly money now.
Yeah, I can bet.
But yeah, probably those.
Awesome. DVD for Bloke says they also chopped out scenes of Superman 4, actually important plot details, so they could put them into Superman 5, which didn't happen.
Yeah, because they had they had like 2 nuclear men in it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They just cut one of them out.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a Nuclear Man 1, wasn't there? They just cut the scene out completely. And then it kind of sort of looked like Mr. Freeze from the 60s Batman show a little bit. Like if you tried to fix it. But yeah, and then they just stuck with Nuclear Man 2, who kind of looked like this bodybuilder, like just this guy. With Gene Hackman's voice dubbed over him.
David Beach says, "What movies would you like to come out on Blu-ray that's not out yet?"
Well, I think True Lies and The Abyss. The big
True
ones.
Lies, definitely. I agree.
Yeah.
It's funny when you think about that. It's hard to think off the top of your head, but when you finish the stream, you think about 10 of them. But
yeah.
I'm sure if you were going and stand and look at your wall of movies, you would start to pick out ones that you would want. There's got to be hundreds. I'll tell you what. Actually, what one we got? Your wife was looking for this one and she couldn't find it anywhere. I don't think it's out on Blu-ray, but she loves it as a movie, and we ended up getting it from CEX because we bought it from CEX, sent away for it. We didn't buy it in the shop. It was a Baby Boom. Remember that with Diane Keaton?
Diane Keaton. Al Ramis is in that as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a really hard one to get, and I don't think you get it on Blu-ray. It was a big title back in the day, so I can't understand why it's not, unless it's got a company's released it and they haven't lost the rights or something daft like that. It happens all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to see After Hours get a Blu-ray. I don't know if it has.
Oh yeah.
That's a brilliant film.
I don't even think it's got a DVD in the UK.
No, don't think it has.
DVD, I think it's one.
Yeah.
I know. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think another one.
Yeah.
Another one would be, well, I think we are getting a Blu-ray of it now, but The Hitcher. I think that's coming.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
Love that film.
They haven't got the elements to make a 4K. They said
they do now. They've just
do
announced an update that they found it. They found the negative. Yeah, so they're going to do a 4K.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's good news. I tell you what, mate, you've made my night.
And it's made my day because it's like, that's in my top 10 favorite films of all time. The Hitcher. Yeah.
I've been waiting to buy that movie for the longest time.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD, which to be fair is not a bad DVD. It's a nice 2-disc edition, but yeah, I am really looking forward to the
last
Blu-ray.
time I had it was on VHS. Haven't had since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
The music in that film is just it's spot on. Closing credits, the music that plays over the credits is stunning.
Yeah.
It's such a good film.
Yeah.
Rutger Hauer, just what a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I just had something about him.
Yeah. That Blind Fury he was in was pretty good. I didn't mind that. That was quite good.
Yeah. And there's that Split Second.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hobo with a shotgun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that film.
Yeah,
it's a really good one.
Great actor.
Yes.
Ryan says Phantasm 1 actually gave him a headache.
I love it.
It is a fun film. Gary North says, my favourite physical media I own is a limited edition DVD soundtrack CD combo of Milena signed by Ennio Morricone. Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I don't know what that is, Melina, but with anything to do with Ennio Morricone is like top of the tree for me.
Yeah, he's done some great music
from
some of his films.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Ryan, says David. The Hitcher was great, says Gary. And DVD and Film Bloke says basically the entirety of Ralph Balski's films and the standard Blu-ray of Talk Radio.
Yes, I love that film.
Yeah.
I'll praise it enough. Yeah. Such an underrated Oliver Stone film. And the monologue in it is phenomenal. It's just such a good film. One of the best movie characters ever, in my opinion. He's played by an actor who doesn't show up in a lot of movies either. Like, I think the most recent film I saw him in was that Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler.
Oh, that one, yeah, for Netflix.
He plays one of the villains in Under Siege 2 as well. Opposite Everett McGill. But this movie was like he did the theatre production version of this movie that he acted in, and I think he wrote as well. And then he teamed up with Oliver Stone to make the movie, and it's phenomenal. I absolutely just love it. It's so good. Yeah, I got the DVD of it when it was free in the Radio Times years ago. I just picked it up randomly. Never seen it, never heard of it, didn't know what I was watching, and I loved it.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it for a long time, but I did enjoy it when I first saw it.
Yeah, great cast in it as well. It's got Alec Baldwin and John C. McGinley, Michael Wincott, who is an actor I absolutely love. He's just got a great sounding voice. He's phenomenal. Movies like he plays the villain in The Crow. He's amazing. I just love his voice. Yeah.
Right. Ryan says, my opinion, Phantasm is one of the most dullest movies I've seen in my life. Literally made him want to gouge his eyes out. I was that bored.
Ryan, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I think it's a great movie. I can
Yeah, it's a lot
understand
of
how
fun.
someone couldn't like it though, because it's,
Yeah,
it's a strange movie. But I do like it. I think it's a great movie.
Yeah.
The sequels are fun as well.
It gets
They're not
crazy
really-
as it comes along.
Yeah, they're not really like the first film. The sequels, they're a bit more like the Evil Dead films, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. It's the sequels are slightly different. They get that the humor comes out a lot more in the sequels.
Yeah.
I just like it's some movies that you sort. I know don't get great towards the end. They get a little bit wrong, but for the most part, I think the first four are very watchable.
Yeah.
I think Phantasm was maybe one of the ones that was kind of not a video nasty, but it was one of the movies that didn't really see on the life on the shelf seem to like vanish in that whole thing because of the whole ball and the running
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, we're still live.
I think it's
Yeah, I will do.
just strikes me as one of the ones that did because it used to a lot of the titles used to fly off the shelves and never see the light of day again. That was one that you just never saw after this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the shelves were just watered down after that. It's like you go in and you just look at it and you look at the horror section, you just think there's no there. You know, or it just come out cut, but never mind. It's but yeah, Phantasm, it's I keep meaning to pick up the box set, but it's just never cheap enough.
Yeah, because it's just that standard box set now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Sorry about that. I just had to
John,
downstairs.
he sorted out Phantasms first, I think 1 and 2 on a double bill. I think 2's got a different cut or something to it, which I haven't seen before. So he's talking about this. I think he's coming over soon. So we'll do another video, do a couple of videos and put them out. Of, whatever. Tell you what, if you want to know anything about video nasties, he knows everything about them. I might do a video nasty video with him and hire that out sometime when he's been up. I think the next time he's going to come up, I do want him to I'm going to ask him to do something and I'll put the video onto his channel because he hasn't got anything in his channel. So he can, he can do his own video. I'll film it and cut it up and put it, if he gives me the password for his channel, I'll put it on there, or maybe put it on there when he's here. And then he's got some content, and every time he comes around, he can maybe make a video here and put it on his channel because he hasn't got the way of doing it in his own house at the moment.
Cool.
His stuff's in storage actually, but I've seen his collection when it was out. And when you're walking around the shelves and you can't believe what you're seeing, there's just everything there. You're going, I wish I had that. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. Everything's sealed.
Yeah.
Everything's sealed.
Wow.
Wow, it's just unbelievable, but brilliant. And I'm sure, because Keith from Euphoria Pictures, he had in his collection, he's got like a bust of Planet of the Apes. It's like got real hair and all.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
That one, around about the time when he bought it, John Hall had it and he had it in his house. But his nephew used to come and he was petrified of this bust. So he had to get rid of it. So he sold it. He gave it to his brother and his brother sold it. And I would keep meaning to say, ask your Davey if he knows where this went. Because if it went to Keith, I said to Keith, I said, I'm sure that's that thing from his house, John Hall's house. It'd be weird if it was. But I'm really hoping that John will get some content on his channel, but I'll have to give him a hand with it because I can listen to him all day. And everything I ask him, off camera, I can ask him about any film and he'll tell you everything about it. I don't know how he remembers because I can't remember the stuff that he's forgotten more than I'll ever remember in my life.
Yeah.
But,
Soph says, hey, me and Sweet will also say hi after the live. Excuse me, looking like death.
That's all right, Soph.
Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, I believe Talk Radio was put out on Blu-ray by Twilight Time for a silly price. I had the UK
Somebody was talking about
network
before, you know,
DVDs.
Twilight Time. This money.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 Used to put all the Woody
it's a
Allen
film
stuff.
it's a film I 100% recommend.
I have remember you've talked about it a lot in previous streams. You recommend it so highly, don't you?
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
Definitely one I need to check out. Yeah. He said about the network DVD of it network before they started doing British films. At the time, they were just known for old ITV sitcoms and remastered.
Yeah.
I mean, the On the Buses set put out by Network I have is riddled with dropouts. I actually do have that set.
I'm watching that set at the minute, actually.
Yep.
Can't get enough On the Buses. So funny.
Yeah, we've got the films as well on a set and all.
Yeah. 3 films.
Yeah. Ryan says, looks like Pete went for a quick read. Must be a long one. Yeah, I'll walk downstairs. My dad's in bed because he's got to be up at 4 in the morning.
Beautiful starts.
Yeah. Ennio Morricone's score for Milena was Oscar nominated. In my opinion, he should have won that year. The movie is worth seeing for the music alone.
I never heard of it actually, but it must be good. He doesn't even try.
Yeah.
Definitely we'll have to have a look into that.
I can't remember.
Don't know. Yeah. DVD and Film Bloke says, I think the only thing that goes for early network is some of the releases actually include the original VT clocks, which is what the clock at the start of my video is a tribute to. That's interesting.
That is interesting actually, because I remember watching, I think it was Nearest and Dearest, and they had a lot of them TV clocks counting down. I thought they'd actually done it by accident, but I know they put it in because it's kind of you know, like Easter egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very interesting, that accent.
And it's clear the master tapes for On the Buses have seen better days. Yeah. Definitely.
I'm surprised they've still got all the episodes of that and haven't been wiped.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the first 2 series was in black and white, wasn't it? Yeah, and
it was at
went
the
to
same
colour.
time, you know, that what's the name was getting, Doctor Who was all getting wiped. So there's that as well.
Yeah, because I think part of season 4, series 4 was shot in black and white due to the colour strike or something.
Yeah, colour strike.
Yeah.
I remember, you probably not remember this. Well, I know you definitely won't remember this. They used to have in the sort of early 70s, they used to have the electrical strike. Everything used to go off.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
7 o'clock,
Yeah.
the lights were off, and you got your candles out. Telly was gone, and you just had to sit there with candles until you went to bed. It was ridiculous, but it was just what happened.
It's really interesting you saying that, John, because when I went to see the family at Christmas, that just came up in a topic of discussion. So just strange how that's just come up again.
Well, it's funny, you know, because Mike, because you know when you talk about it, it sounds daft, but it's amazing because when it happened, you were like incensed. You know, they turn the lecky off. You can't do anything. You know, it's like barbaric.
Yeah.
And then, but anyway, after about a week, you just got used to it. And it was just a thing that happened. You know, the lecky's going off tonight, so you just get your candles out and just that was it. But yeah, it was a mad thing, but it was a thing, you know. Strikes were all over. Everything was going on strike in the 70s. Nothing was
I can imagine. Yep. As he said, they still have the master tapes for all the episodes. Ryan says he'll be on to cause some chaos when the live stream ends. Yeah. DVD Film Bloke says it's hard to find early black and white 2-inch videotapes. Most of the ones I've seen are filmed recordings of the original VTs. That's interesting. But yeah, that is the final comment of the night, and we're just nearing 4 hours, so I think probably it's time to finish up tonight. What do you guys think?
Well, have you not got another 4 hours to go?
My dad will be coming down there saying,
Stop it,
"What, you
man."
still up?" Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've
So,
enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been
That's a
great
new
getting
one.
you back on, John.
No, it's great to be here.
Yeah. I thought I'd invite Mike on as well because I thought Mike would be a great addition.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Mm. Yeah. DVDs and Film Bloke says good night. Good night to you, mate. And good night to everyone who's watching. Thank you ever so much for watching. We'll be back again next week at 7:30. Don't know who the guest is, but we have got the guests for the rest of the month lined up. But whoever it is, see you all next week. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
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 Ta-ra.